The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Damn, damn, damn!
All right, welcome everybody. It is Wednesday, and we are back. Hey now, Jan's here. So Krellbosch will be here momentarily. Hey now, Krellbosch will be here momentarily, and I think he's rebooting his computer and adjusting his wig. And while we start, let's say hello to. We're going head-to-head with Beato. Oh, is he on live? I could care less. Anyways, yeah. Matt, welcome.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Dane, welcome.
Hey, guys.
All right. There's no delay.
Thanks for having me. How's it going?
Good, good. Good to see you. And and Joe, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
And
Ricky.
let me ask you this question, and this is to Dane. Dane, that Sparkle Crackle, did it sell?
Sparkle Crackle?
The one you showed on Johnny Bean's show last night.
Yeah, here's what he's going to do. He sent me he's got a solar guitar. And I go, dude, let's just swap guitars. Send me your solar and I'll trade you for it. So he's going to send me this thing.
Make them full screen.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me see. One more time. For the people in the back.
And he froze. Oh, there we go.
And so it's a flat finish that he hates. Yeah, so it's a flat finish that he hates.
And all right, looks good.
I just showed his phone number.
Now, what's this sparkle
I said,
thing?
dude, just send me a solar, man. I'd love to have that thing. But again, it's a flat finish, and when you play it a lot, there's certain parts where your hand is always on, and it starts to get shiny. And he says that bugs the hell out of me. So
all right. Well, as long as he's not OCD. No.
Yeah, I know.
Andrew Collins, yes, I did pop in the chat because Johnny and I are talking about Johnny is going to come on one of these nights. Wednesday's a tough night for him, but he's going to work it out to try to come on the show, and he's going to have me on his show. And so we just talked, and then I popped in. I saw he was live, so I popped in. I was actually smoking a cigar and figured I would pop in and say hello. And I saw Dane in there, so I really wanted to say hello. And then the guy was talking about amps, that other guy. No, he was talking about tubes, but then he mentioned something when the guy said, well, I'm using 6L6, and he said something about a pentode. I'm like, no, it's a tetrode tube. And then he was like, no, it's, and then he went like, oh, it was. And then Zim comes in there and says, Dave knows.
On the show.
Yeah, he was like, Dave knows everything about Marshalls. I'm like, I know my Fender amps.
He came into my store a couple of months ago, and he used to work for John Suhr. And so he's worked on guitars, and he brought me
John Suhr's out in Lake Elsinore, California, which is probably an hour closer to you than LA.
yeah, so he brought me bags full of Goto springs for guitars. I have a bag like this big full of guitar springs that John Sir was throwing out, and
Yeah.
and 40 Grit gave them to me. And so he gave
That's
me all
great.
kinds of little parts for whammy bars and stuff, like bags full of stuff. Yeah, so he's pretty smart. I don't know how smart he is when it comes to amps. I think you got the market cornered for knowing your different Marshall amps and stuff. Because
Well, it's
again,
not
like
just
you were
Marshall. I
saying
know all my
last
Fenders,
week,
and I
we all
know.
just think it's a 2000 or a 900 or an 800, and most guys
Well,
know there's a 50 watt and a 100 watt, and that's about it.
well, I thought it
That's
was
general
funny
knowledge.
that the kid said, "I don't take the 100 watts anymore. That's too much." But and then he was like, "I take out the 50 watt." And I'm laughing to myself because you know the difference between 100 watt and 50 watts is 3 dB, 3 decibels, not 30,
Yeah.
3, which is noticeable if one of them's dimed and the other one's dimed. Both are going to be too fucking loud. But the point I'm making, Krellbot didn't get his haircut that he was required.
That's the difference is 3 dBs.
It's 3 dB. Yeah, so there's not a big difference in amp power. So I think what he was trying to say was he takes out a combo amp and not a head in 4x12. Because a 50 watt, I mean, if I took out a 50 watt head, it's the same as 100. I'm not diming anything. I'm not taking everything to the max. So there's really, the only difference is there's a feeling, I would say, maybe sometimes of slight headroom in the 100 watt amp over the 50. But if you're playing high, I mean, the kid's a Van Halen, he's playing high gain stuff, I imagine. You're not going to hear a difference. Not
well,
too
Yngwie
much.
plays with 50 watt heads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But because, I mean, Yngwie, because you're not going to dime the thing. You're playing it on stage volume. Then you got a mic in front. I mean, you got it pretty loud. But you got a mic in front of it that's picking it up, and the PA that's 50 feet in front of you, kind of sitting in front of the audience, is what's blasting that thing. You know what I mean?
Dave, so I don't know if you heard about this, but this might mean something to you. Sadly, last Saturday was the last day for the Circle Bar in Santa Monica.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it closed.
What happened?
Don't know. I heard that the owners of the building left the building to like their grandkids, and they might have jacked the rent up real high or something like that. But yeah, August 5th was the last day.
Wow. That was a staple of Santa Monica, especially it was like
know.
literally the bar at the bottom of my hill. I would now let me explain to you, for those who don't know, I don't drink. And I think the whole time that bar's been there, I may have been inside it 4 times, and 2 of those times had a drink. That one time when I went by there and those girls were like, "Get in here and do shots with me." And then I came outside, I was talking to you, and you're like, "Are you buzzed?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
I was like, I would go because the guys that work the front there, you, Kent, some on different nights than you were there, a guy.
The late Kent.
And what's that?
The late Kent.
Yes, the late Kent.
Yeah.
I mean, just all the guys.
Jess King.
He was great. Jess, awesome. Used to call me Lifeline.
The Lifeline, yes.
Yeah, the Lifeline.
If you're on the game show and you can make that call and you need that answer.
Yeah, if you're ever in the catch cab. But Krell, is your mic working? I just want to make sure to say hello here.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Oh, better than usual.
Oh, geez, really? I need to turn the volume up then.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is it's that you got arrested. You're in the interrogation room and you figured you'd turn the camera on.
As soon as I saw the picture come up and I saw the background, it's like all you need is the line showing the height.
And there's that free T-shirt they gave him to put on because he was busted.
Bill Gates can suck it. I tell you, every damn time at the most inopportune times, that fucking involuntary update.
Oh, the PC. Well, yeah. Mine. I bought a new webcam and somehow it crashed the system. I don't know what's going on with it, but anyways, going to So just real quickly going back to Dane. Yeah. So the difference is 3 decibels. It's not a big deal. So you know, if you can find if you could find a great price on a 50-watt head for a Marshall, I would say jump on it. What the hell's the difference? I mean, you're not going to miss that 3 dB. I mean, most of the guys, Jeff Beck played a DSL 50. They're loud. 50 watts is loud, especially when you put it through a 4x12.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly. So I mean, it's loud, but those guys are on another level with Ed. Man, they just want to talk Van Halen, and I'm like, you know what's funny is
Yeah.
you guys were big Van
Sometimes
Halen fans,
he
right?
keeps getting all these special guests. Yeah, but Johnny gets these guys, and it's like, he gets a guy to come on the show that has actually created the encyclopedia of Van Halen. Then he gets another guy that grew up with Ed, and then he gets another guy on his show that
I want to through his
Ed
trash.
builds guitars, and it's just this
They
constant.
should just
he
call
works
it
hard
Everything
at it.
Eddie. The Everything Eddie channel.
I mean, but
Yeah,
the point of the matter is,
I
like,
live next door, and I picked through his trash, and I found.
Yeah, exactly. I found that he likes Charmin over Northern, and I found that very odd. You know, it's
enough fiber.
Yeah, it's amazing because, you know, like I was 12 years old in 1980, and 1980 was the year I got my first Van Halen album. Actually, I bought two at the same time. I bought Women and Children first and Van Halen 2. And I loved Eddie. I loved that album. But you know what else in that year came out was Back in Black, which was huge. Huge. Heaven and Hell, huge. Judas Priest, British Steel, huge. For me, Devo, Freedom of Choice. As we see the hats, the energy domes, brilliant. There was so much great music there. It's like, yeah, Eddie did some great stuff. He was a great player, had a great tone, but so was a lot of other guys. You know? I just like, to me, I'm like, this is getting to the point of like, fuck Elliot Easton. I'm going to start the Elliot Easton channel. We're going to talk Elliot Easton nonstop, played on the same amount. You know what's funny is
just listening to a lot of cars today.
I was thinking about this today. When Black Sabbath replaced Ozzy and Black Sabbath both got a huge boost in their careers. In fact, one could argue it's been the next two albums for Ozzy and the next two albums for Black Sabbath, one could argue is the best of their careers. They both elevated to a whole new fucking level, especially when you think of like, I know some people like the album Never Say Die. I don't care for it. I love the song Never Say Die. I think the title track is fantastic. But otherwise, there's a lot of stuff going on where Ozzy's trying to harmonize too much. But the next record for Ozzy is Blizzard of Oz. It's fucking fantastic. Heaven and Hell, fantastic. What a time for music. And then you think about Van Halen. David Lee Roth quits the band. And in my opinion, both new projects are worse than what they did together. I think the David Lee Roth stuff was the poor man's Van Halen.
Yep.
And I think the Van Hagar stuff was Hagar.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, Cultosaurus erectus. Is that the one that had Black
Damage
Blade on that album?
saying, don't forget Blue Oyster Cult. Don't forget.
Yeah. I think Black Blade was on that record.
Black
What
Blade
song
and
I love by
Joan
Blue?
Collins is risen from the grave. And
Joan Crawford.
Joan Crawford.
Joan Collins.
Joan Collins is
Joan
still
Collins was still alive when that song came out.
Joan
Let me
Crawford.
tell you a
Joan
great
Crawford
song.
is risen from the grave. What's on there?
I love the
I
song
like Joan Collins
Dominance
better.
and Submission. Dominant Submission. Radios up here.
Joan Collins.
Who is the Cults? You know, and there's a guy, Buck Dahmer. What a great guitar player. I mean, it's odd the way he plays. He has this rhythmic lead style, but it fucking works. He's great.
You remember when Dio did Stars?
Oh, Burning
with
for
all
You
the-
was on that one
of
too.
course.
You know, the guy, Dharma,
Yeah,
he had
Buck
the best solo.
I'm
He had the best
burning,
solo
I'm
on that.
burning, I'm burning for you.
He's playing it rhythmically the the way he would play in Blois to Cult. I always liked the way he plays. I thought he had a good voice. I like Eric Bloom's voice. Blois to Cult was one of those bands. They were like your your B-level band. They weren't like your headliner, but like remember there was the Black and Blue tour in 1980 when they opened up for Sabbath.
Yeah.
But honestly, when you think about it, like Van Halen didn't do better when they split. Maybe financially they did better.
Yeah, they
hit pop radio.
Well, because those Van Halen albums sold more than
for sure
authors. Yeah.
Did the Cult ever do a headlining arena tour?
Who?
I believe so. Yeah.
Blois the Cult.
Pretty sure.
Oh, I have no idea. Arena? I don't think so.
Fire of Unknown Origin, Burn for You was pretty big.
It was a big hit in 81.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 81.
Yeah, and then 83 they had Take Me Away. Go on and take me away, which on Shooting Shark, your favorite one, Krell. You love Shooting Shark.
Don't shoot the shark.
No, do you know the song Shooting Shark by Blois the Cult?
I think I remember it.
Huge hit.
So
a ridiculous video.
Somebody I listened to a lot of that time who I've just kind of rediscovered is Gary Moore.
Oh, Corridors of Power.
Yeah, but if you go back, and I just was randomly going, Gary Moore live, and the first thing that came up was this tribute to Phil Lynott, and it was Gary Moore and Friends, and it was in Dublin, and it was later in his career, he was all bloated and shit. But man, I forgot that guy fucking played with such authority, man. He just
he's fucking incredible.
Every fucking note. There was not a stinker to be heard. I mean, everything he played, it sounded like he meant to fucking play it, And he just had a tone and a command that was incredible.
Well, the Corridors of Power record, I've seen that live with he brings on Gorham, I think, in there, Scott Gorham.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he's got a great voice. He's a great player. I love the Corridors of Power album. Victims of the Future is another great record.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Thin Lizzy album, he did the Black Rose.
It's excellent.
LP. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw Gary Moore on the Wild Frontier tour.
That was a great album.
To see him on Corridors of Power, it was supposed to be Gary Moore, Focus, and Def Leppard in 1984.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary Moore backed out. It would have been that much better.
That would have been great.
Yeah, Robbie Robinson died.
That's one guy I never got to see, man.
So, it's funny because I've been going back and listening to a lot of Michael Schenker Group. It's like nonstop. And I think that, I really dig those records. I can understand why they never made it into mainstream, and it has a lot to do with the tone of the guitar, basically the production. The production of it is it's that pre-Unleashed in the East, Judas Priest, half-cocked Marshall sound where the tone is just, you know what I mean? But you have to kind of see through it with those albums. But yeah, I mean, someone said, I just saw it, that Damage says that Black and Blue, they alternated headlines. That makes sense to me because Black Sabbath was basically coming out of the gate as a new band with Dio and, really off of the fringe of not having a successful last 4 or 5 years, right? I mean, since 76 anyway. So I could see that they didn't, that they would give up the headline for the Black and Blue tour. And, but I also thought it was funny because I was thinking about it because both those bands, Ozzy and Sabbath, they parted ways and both of them made out, whereas Van Halen, in my opinion, they both lost. When Van Halen is mad at Sammy Hagar, whatever happened there, which I just think is the strangest thing. And then they bring in Gary Sharon. If you don't listen to one Gary Sharon song and say, yeah, we don't want this guy singing, you've lost the plot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, do you guys like his voice?
No, but I think that was all.
No, was the right answer.
He said that he, that was, he was pumping it up. This guy's like my brother. He's like the best singer. And he's like this. And it's he was really, that's what killed him was that album. Cause it's the only album he ever made sober. And when it didn't do well, he thought he put everything he had into it, and when it bombed, he was just like devastated.
Well, you know, with Sharon, what they tried making him do was they wanted him to sing like Sammy Hagar, because if you notice his voice on that album, it's like he's trying to sound like Sammy Hagar.
Well, there was actually another guy that was tapped to be the lead singer before.
Yeah, the blonde-haired guy.
Yeah, Mitch Malloy or something like that.
Yeah, that's his name, Mitch Malloy.
Yeah, that guy's got some stories to tell.
Yeah.
Because he said Eddie called him one time and was like, man, you know, everything's fucked up. I don't know what to do. What would you do? And he's like, well, you want the truth? He's like, of course I want the truth. You're my friend. He's like, get Dave back in the band. And he's like, fuck you. I don't want to. He's like, hey, you told me to tell you what I thought, you know, here, get Dave back in the band if you want to be successful again. So,
yeah, I mean, well, first 4 albums.
Mitch Malloy is currently in, he's in Great White, Mitch Malloy.
Is he?
They had him replace Jack Russell. That's an extreme upgrade.
Oh my God. Shit. Boy, that guy looks like a
Jack Russell just got a new dog. I can't remember the kind.
Well, he kind of looks like a basset. Huh? He was a young enough guy, and he had those fucking jowls.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Yeah, well,
they were good in 86, 87, man. They were good.
There's so many great singers out there that you could have found a guy. Like, I mean, I guess the thing with Van Halen, I just felt like when they came out with the Sharon, that it sounded like a Bad Extreme album. Mm-hmm. And it's like they had no direction, because when you take a singer on in your band,
they had the same
that singer's
an easy transition.
No, but the thing is when you have a band, your singer is your sound. So when Black Sabbath, I mean, initially, I think Dio and Iommi were planning on doing something, but not in Sabbath. When they decided it was going to be Sabbath, the band realized there's going to be a very big sound difference in the style of the songs. And that was something they took into consideration and decided to go for it anyways. But, you know, they're used to playing riff rock, and Dio's more singing over big chord structures and things like that. So they had to change a lot of their style for him. And I heard an interview with Iommi where Iommi said, hey, listen, we figured we need to take this leap. And so and I think they knew it was a conscious move. It was like, we know we're A, he's B, and we got to meet somewhere over at C and change the sound. Now, Van Halen, I don't think did that when they took in Sammy. I think they just were like, we write tunes, you sing, let's get together. And then Sammy started writing the songs, and they kind of went with the flow, but it was a completely different band. Mm-hmm. It lacked, I would call, a lot of the original band was a circus rock show. It was everything in excess. And the other band was a pop band, no different than Foreigner 4.
Yeah. I will say, though, I think that the Ozzy albums did better financially, than the Sabbath albums. Even though the Sabbath albums are phenomenal, commercially, they didn't go over as big as the Ozzy albums. And I'm just
that could be true. I mean, I don't know about the sales. I don't know. I mean, Ozzy, I would imagine, is in the multi-platinums of those, and I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking about when they first came out as well, though. It's like I saw the Mob Rules tour in Indianapolis, and it was like they had the arena was like curtained off in the middle. It's like they only sold half the arena, and even that wasn't full. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of that has to do with, and this might be crazy, but Ozzy definitely had more. I don't want to say it. Don't make me say it. He had more sex appeal than Dio. There were young ladies that loved Crazy Train, I Don't Know, Goodbye to Romance.
Well,
I don't know many young ladies that were going, oh, I hope they do Neon Nights.
Well, I know, but he's also like, if you look
at
it, Dio is like the Uli Roth of singing.
Right.
He dresses like Peter Pan. He fucking sings about dragons and shit. Come on.
I remember trying to convince a girl to go see Sabbath with Dio, and I'm like, listen, don't you like Carla from Cheers? She's singing. Folks, I'm going to use that joke till it's in the ground. I don't give a shit what anyone says. But yeah, no, so a lot of women, and when I say women, the girls that were listening to Sabbath maybe in the 70s, when Ozzy left, that was the guy they would follow. And then Dio comes from a band that was called Rainbow. Now let me give you the list of women at a Rainbow concert. I'm sorry, the page is blank. Nobody. Let me tell you, if you were a young homosexual and you wanted to find a room full of guys, you go to a Rainbow show. Dio's singing, Richie's playing guitar.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody in the chat, fuck off. This is gold. I should be seeing LOL scrolling up and down, but I'm not.
Hey, I
I'm
saw
switching
Rainbow.
computers, so I'll see you in a bit.
What?
I'm switching computers. I'll see you in a
All
bit.
right, go ahead. All right, see you.
You guys see my drum set and my cat.
Right. Were you here on the show when someone asked him if he was single and he goes, "There's a drum kit in the living room"? Fucking great. That's great. Anyways, getting back to it. So I think that's why a lot of the sales of Ozzy did better than the sales from Sabbath, was because Sabbath was getting more of the newer, I would say, the new metal fans, the younger.
Yeah, but I think the Ozzy thing, and it was more, I mean, I don't remember any of the Sabbath stuff being on the radio at the time, but you were hearing the Ozzy stuff on the radio, so that pushed it. Big.
Yeah, and all you heard on Sabbath was Heaven and Hell.
Yeah, and
not that often, because it's a 6 minute tune. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Neon Nights is so good. But you got to listen to also the fucking absurd philosophy of Dio in the lyrics. The world is full of kings and queens of black. It's like, Jesus Christ.
We're all these kings and queens, man.
You also have to
The
remember
moon is
at
just the sun at night.
Ozzy was always the front man of Sabbath, so obviously he was more well known,
right?
Than Dio. Like guys like us would know Ronnie James, but the other thing is, Ozzy was his own publicity. The crazy shit he kept doing was a nonstop stream of publicity.
Yeah, which wasn't even intentional.
Yeah.
Right.
Sharon hands him the fuck. If he never bit the head off the bat of the doves, he might not have been as big. Sharon hands him the doves. When you meet the new CBS executives, take them out of your pocket and throw them in the air, and he bites their fucking heads off.
Just one.
Same thing with the bat.
Yeah.
Someone throws the bat up on the stage. He thinks it's rubber. Supposedly, he bites the head off. He gets arrested for pissing on the fucking Alamo. He was
Yeah, no, yeah. Well, that was part of it. But from 1980, like when Sabbath came out, like I said, there's no girls going to be sitting there going, "Oh man, Crowbar's back. Neon Nights, that's the tune to listen to." It's like, are you kidding me? Like, I love Neon Nights, but I didn't know any girls that would. It's like the girls that would listen to Iron Maiden back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Very rare, very few and far between.
Yeah. I've been paroled.
You've been what?
Paroled.
Oh, okay.
Turn your mic down.
Well, you said it's so hot in the mic. It was like 106 degrees. Nice.
Jeez.
Balmy.
Shit sucks.
But anyways, and think about 1980, like all those records. I mean, so much great music was coming out. 81 was insane. Fucking Billy Squier, Don't Say No. Point of Entry by Judas Priest. Wow, what was that Crocus album that came out that year? Hardware.
That's the one that had ballroom blitz.
No, that was 84.
Ballroom Blitz is 84.
What about that?
The Blitz.
Not Hardware. What's the album? Oh no, Headhunter's the good record. Hardware came out in 81.
Yeah,
81 Hardware with Winning Man. Fantastic stuff back then. Yeah. So many bands, it was like a race. Go look up if you look in Google and say
Abominog by Uriah Heep was that year.
You're right. Maybe. I only know that because of the fucking album cover.
That was what I was going to say, man. That album is so misleading because it looks like the heaviest fucking metal ever produced. And you listen to it, like, this doesn't match the cover. This isn't like death metal or something.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Molly Hatchet, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's funny? When I was a kid, I used to go to this mall, and I'm trying to remember it might have been a Strawberries Records and Tapes, and they all, or was it? I can't remember, but they always had the Iron Fist album by Motorhead. And so and I always was like, man, I like this album cover. And finally I ended up buying it one time, and which is now why it's probably my favorite Motorhead album, because I used to listen to it front to back. But it was good. Mm-hmm. I like Motorhead. I don't love Motorhead, but I like Motorhead. But I'll tell you, a funny record I bought was Queensryche's first EP. And I bought it just because the logo said Queensryche, and it's written in like purple with the pointy thing. And I'm like, I got to get this EP. I bought that EP and Lizzie Borden, Give Him the Axe. And I gave Lizzie Borden the axe.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it wasn't a band I really cared for.
Yeah. Funny story about Lizzie Borden.
She took an axe.
Gave her father 40 bucks.
You know, she came from a wealthy family, and she had a black maid. And she went to the maid one day and said, do you think it's okay if I go to the school dance? And she said, sure you can, child, but first you got to ask your parents. Oh, my God.
Damn.
Whoa.
These are the jokes.
Is there a distant relation to Florida Evans that told her to do that?
That actually was told on WBCN in the 80s, that joke. And I never forgot it. I loved it. It's funny. I played with a guy who told me Dio in his contract on the Heaven and Hell tour, Geezer Butler had to stay 15 away due to his height. Used to be about music.
His height.
Well, he's short,
He's
Dio.
Short.
Is Tony Iommi
Dio was
tall?
short, little tiny guy. Little.
Yeah.
Oh, I know Dio's short.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a reason.
Oh, I know. I actually went out for sushi with him one night, and he said to me, hey, do you mind paying? I'm a little short.
The dad jokes abound.
Oh, my God, folks. Well, you're not laughing at the good stuff. I may as well throw my B material.
That's not even B material.
What's the difference between a shower curtain and toilet paper?
What?
So you're the one. I actually saw that on an episode of Alf. Alf says he's gonna do stand-up comedy, and he says that joke, and Willie's just looking at him like he's an idiot. He goes, and then I'm gonna move into my B material.
Oh shit.
God. Unbelievable, folks. Anyway, so I watched the Johnny Bean thing, and they talked a little bit about some stuff. I don't know if that's my kind of conversation, but Johnny's funny because Johnny tells me he's a huge Duran Duran fan, which that's a great conversation to get into, and a great band. And I like even the band that inspired them, which was a band called Japan, which was a British band with what's his name? David Sylvian, Richard Barbieri, fucking Steve Jansen, and Mick Karn. Great band.
Johnny's a huge fan of Andy Summers too.
Nice one, Everett. Anytime
he loves when I come out of that. The Police.
What was it? Say it again. Say that one more time.
He's a huge fan of Andy Summers and the Police.
Oh yeah, Police was a great band too. A great band. I mean, there's so much great stuff that it's like, I'm just thinking the Van Halen talk is like, and the other thing with that is everyone's got the Van Halen type guitars. I mean, that never did anything for me. You know what? There was a guy who was a tech for Ed who came down to Venice, and he had a purple Kramer 5150, like how Ed had all the red ones. This guy had a purple one that Ed gave to him, and he let me play it. Mm-hmm. And the nut was like 1 9/16. It was so fucking thin. I was like, I would never play this. Are you kidding me? I have hands like fucking Shrek. I'm going to sit there. You know what I mean? It's like I'm playing a pool cue. Get this thing. So it's like, everyone's
Put
like,
some English on that lick.
Yeah, it's like, but everyone's like, did Ed play that guitar? Did Ed play this one? I'm like, who even gives a shit? Him and I don't play the same kind of guitars. I like a wide neck, He likes a thin one.
Well, that's weird because you always hear about how wide the neck was on his first black and white. You know, you always hear about it's almost like a classical guitar or something.
Oh, see, that's how I like it.
Yeah, that's what those earlier guitars, the Bumblebee and the white and black one, though they supposedly had necks like that. Now they're all. We played like the PVs. They're all narrow. They're all like. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, man. It seems.
I think when he switched the necks, I think it's when he went to the Kramer neck, which would have been 83, 84.
Yeah, close in there. Yeah.
Because he was hanging around the Kramer factory. I know he went down there a few times and picking out stuff and picking out necks. And that was the thing he dug. Which I don't know. Like, to me, I'd rather have a wide. But I wouldn't care. Like, if someone said to me, oh, so-and-so owned this guitar or played this guitar. Like, I know, like Craigslist and all these things, they think it adds value to it. And I'll tell you one time, Michael Monarch, what's the band he was from? Steppenwolf.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
He had this guitar that he had given to Don, the owner of West LA Music. And it was like a Tele Strat mix. Like, he took parts from like a 50s and a 60s. And he had played it that way for years. And he brought it to the shop to do it on consignment. And so we had it on this big display. And Mike came to talk to me, and he's like, I can't believe no one's buying that guitar for $7,000. And I said, I'll be honest, I can't see anyone giving us $700.
Yeah, piece of junk.
And he looked at me like he was all mad. I'm like, well, I'm just saying, today it's not the same world. Like, kids don't care. I don't know what kind of Steppenwolf fans are on, but this has no value as far as an instrument in a vintage era. It's purely, you would have to be a Steppenwolf fan, and at that point there, and he was like, yeah, I kind of see. He's like, well, I think somebody will buy it. They never bought it.
Yeah,
but it's like guys our age. Did we care about Steppenwolf?
No.
At least not the guitar player in Steppenwolf.
No, but I mean, even when we were kids, like when I was probably in middle school,
I love Born to Be Wild.
The guys who were already out of high school were the Steppenwolf guys. You know what I mean? The easy rider type of aged individuals.
Before me.
Before our time or before our family's time. So I'm just saying, it was like, who the fuck's going to want this thing? Now, if it was an all original 56 Strat, let's just say it was well, number one, it has a huge vintage thing, and then it has a story to it that it was owned by the guy from Steppenwolf. That would have value.
Yeah.
At least on the retail market, on the market.
Mm-hmm.
But when you sit there and you say, well, here's a guitar that has no worth in itself. It's made from a Frankenstein of every Fender part. And then it was the guy in Steppenwolf. You're like, oh, all right, cool.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah.
They were the first biker band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, did they start out as a biker band? Did the bikers adopt them?
I think they adopted them just like the Doobie Brothers.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Doobie Brothers, who has a more impressive mustache?
The phrase heavy metal.
Jeff Skunk Baxter.
Tom Johnston or Brad Delp?
Oh. He wasn't a Doobie Brother.
Well, what about Skunk Baxter?
I know, but have you seen the mustache on Tom Johnston?
Yeah, it's a ultra porn mustache.
It's the 70s mustache that every straight man shaved in 1980 when Freddie Mercury grew a mustache. When Freddie, by the way, 1980 The Game, fantastic album. Fantastic. Now, when Freddie came out with that mustache, every guy who was straight was home going, shaving that thing off. And I don't know how Tom Johnston still wears it.
Yeah, well, nowadays you can't even wear a mustache. Now it's not the homosexual thing. If you wear a mustache that's not like a Fu Manchu or attached to a beard, something, you're a pedophile. It's like if you just wear a regular mustache.
That's weird because let me look at. I thought pedophile meant you liked having sex with young children. Let me just see. It has a mustache thing.
Means you have a mustache.
I can't even.
Oh, let me tell you.
I tried.
The greatest mustache is right here. This is Dr. Disrespect's mustache. But no.
I thought it was Andy Reid.
Yeah, it looks like an Andy Reid. But no, but seriously, the mustache has been it's been out since 1980. It's never coming back. Freddie killed it. When Freddie grew the stash and he came out, I want to break free. Everyone was like, yeah, I'll shave it or I'll have a goatee.
Freddie killed the mustache star.
Then why didn't Rob Halford kill the whole goatee thing?
Yeah, it was the 80s pork.
Well, he grew the goatee much later than when the goatee started taking off.
He grew up much later, and he shaved his head. He was going for what we like to refer to as a gentleman that would be in a bear bar. You guys know what a bear is?
Hairy dude.
Yeah. Bear's a big hairy guy that the gay guys like, and the bear's usually a straight guy.
That's the kind of look that Rob's going for, the leather, the jeans. Because Rob, I watched an interview with Rob in 77, and it's like you got KK, or Ken as he likes to be called, with kind of the Dane here, dude. Dane, you could pull off in a Judas Priest band doing KK Downing. And then Rob Halford looked like a schoolboy. Mm-hmm. Right? He looked like he was like Dennis the Menace.
Well, I started growing this in 88 before anyone was growing goatees. And I still remember getting my balls, but hey, look at Satan.
Well, yeah,
it's
what
like,
was
now
Anton
everyone grows
LaVey?
these fucking things.
Well, that's because of Anton LaVey. Is that his name? From the 60s?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Not only that, every time the devil was depicted in human form, he always had a friggin' goatee.
And looked like you.
Yep.
I always knew there was someone you looked like, man.
Well, I told you, Krell, as soon as you lose the wig.
Especially the hair, where when it's parted and goes, it curls down in front, and that looks kind of evil too.
I just realized something the other day. There was an issue of Guitar Player magazine, and it had a close up of David Gilmour's face, and he was really young. And I was like, he looks like fucking Leonardo DiCaprio. From that.
Well, now we know what Leonardo DiCaprio is going to look like when he gets older.
Yeah,
he's starting to. He's starting to get a chubby
the thing
face.
about Gilmour is his hair is cut short. Mm-hmm. He looks like an English gentleman. He still plays great. Mm-hmm. And then you've got like Jimmy Page, who looks like your laundry will be done in 15 minutes. Come back and wait. He's an old Chinese woman. Mike Heinheit says, does porn dude Mike Horner have that vagina-sized mustache? Whose mustache is more attractive, Mike Horner or Joey Silvera?
Joey Silvera. Oh my God. I know who Joey Silvera is.
Oh, folks, where else are you going to be talking about Eddie Van Halen, Yngwie Malmsteen, and Joey Silvera in one night? It just isn't happening. Why did Joey Silvera always wear denim shirts? Does anybody know why he always wore a denim shirt?
He thought it was cool.
I believe his production company is called Denim Shirt Productions, or something along that line.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with the 80s, with the 70s and 80s porn stars. I know all names. Past that, I have very few.
Past that, you only know their phone numbers and addresses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Dave liked Sharon Mitchell. Yeah, she was gorgeous, huh?
Before my time.
She had a face for radio.
Oh, yeah. That's before my time.
She was something before electricity.
When I was a kid, Barbara Dare was a MILF. You guys remember Barbara Dare?
Yep.
Yeah. And,
Joe just gives the reassuring rabbi nod.
Yes. I thought Joe was falling asleep there.
Muzzle top.
Veronica Hart. Was another
I don't know any of the names you're saying. We live in a parallel. Veronica Hart.
He's naming the 70s, slightly
70s
early
and
80s. You're more around 84, 85 with Barbara Dare.
Yeah, Barbara Dare, Raquel Darian.
I knew the 80s ones.
Those are mid 80s.
Hilarious.
Like in the next thing he'll be naming like Samantha Fox, Desiree Cousteau, Marilyn Chambers.
Yeah. I met Raquel Darian in like 98, and she was still looking great in 98.
Who was this?
Raquel Darian. Yeah. She looked great because I did some guitar work for Kobe Tai, who was a Vivid girl. And so I got to meet all the Vivid girls. And Raquel was still associated with Vivid at that point, and was and I got to meet her and was like, oh. But I think she's our age. I think she's got to be like around 55.
I know
And
Tracy
Christy
Lords is
Canyon,
on.
Ona Z, Hugh for the win with Ona Z. Christy Canyons is doing a podcast. You know. Anyways, that's it for 80s porn, for the 80s porn series.
Welcome to Dave's Porn Channel.
Although, you know, Diana Lauren, who was also a Vivid girl, was also a singer in a heavy metal band out in L.A. Because she played a gig when I was there.
Now, you want to hear? Let me give you.
I won't kiss and tell, Hannah Baum.
Let me give you a bit of it. Trivia. Not many people know.
All right, go ahead.
You remember, and then this may be before your time, but if you know Vivid, you would know this guy because later on he became a big Vivid. Do you remember Paul Thomas?
Yeah.
Yes.
He started as a actor and a director. Do you know that he played St. Peter in Jesus Christ Superstar musical movie?
Really?
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
He's also Mr. Bungle. You know, that at the beginning the girls are porn there. Oh, Mr. Bungle. That's
I don't know what
that's
that
a
is.
scene from that porn movie. You don't know Mr. Bungle? Mike Patton's.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Oh, the group? Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah, the group.
I don't listen
there's
to
a
them.
song "Girls Are Porn."
No.
There's like this little interlude at the beginning. It's from a porn with Thomas in it.
But I always thought that was fun. How do you go from playing St. Peter?
Playing with his Peter.
Wow,
Peter.
playing with your Peter.
Playing with this Peter.
Right. He was that generation. What was it? Gillis, that other guy.
Jamie Gillis,
Jamie Gillis, and there was the other guy that was like synonymous. There was
Harry Reams.
No. Harry Reams. He was but there was Jamie Gillis and the other guy. They were kind of like the Pacino and De Niro of porn.
Herschel Savage?
No, Herschel Savage, that fucking guy.
I've met Herschel Savage a few times in LA. I waited on him when I first moved to LA.
My gosh.
Turns out he grew up in the town next to me.
You guys know way more about porn than I do.
Well, it was an interesting.
Oh, it was our informative years.
It was an interesting childhood, to say the least.
Yeah. And I was watching Tracy Lords on preview when she was my age. She's exactly my age.
I was
so I'm
always
like
a big fan of
16
Candy
watching it.
Loving. Do you guys remember Candy Loving?
Yeah.
Nope.
1979 Playmate of the Year. Good on you, Joe. Those years were important to me. 79, 80, 81. But yeah. Interesting. So it's so funny. My student today comes to my lesson and he asked me if I've heard of third power amplifiers. Now that is the amplifier that is being built by a trans woman. And when I say trans woman, I mean a man that gets dressed as a woman. I mean, and they're not bad sounding amps. They sound like one of the amps I looked at was a Fender and a Vox mix, and you can blend the two amps together. And it's an interesting amp. There's a lot of great amps. You know what though? There's so many good amps. I honestly don't see some of these companies asking for the money they do. Because if you want a great Fender amp, you could call fucking. Did you call him yet?
I have not. No.
Okay, because you can call him for a great Fender amp. A third input. Well, that's a joke for this. Just say it. People watching the show back on the reruns are not sitting there reading these lives. And if you are, folks, get some help. Seek some help.
Well, I figured it was a little too late that it was past the conversation.
No,
so.
it's
third
funny
input
stuff.
amplifiers.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, but there's so many great amplifiers. And I think there's like, I belong to a Marshall group. I mean, and there's so many, you guys are Marshall fans. I mean, Matt, you own a Marshall.
I like them. I'm not crazy about them.
Krellbach, you've been to Marshalls. And I don't even know if you have a Marshall or not. But anyways, I don't think there's a big deal about them. But, there's a guy who's on YouTube. He's an Australian repair guy. He shows you how to make the Origin sound fucking awesome. You could buy an Origin 50 for short money, take it to a Retec for 150, but $200. They'll fix this thing up to sound better than any fucking stock thing on the market. So, I mean, there's lots of great stuff out there. I mean, I just think like some of these private builders who are like in the voiceover on the website for Third Power, the girl / guy is saying our amps are hand wired. No, but it's a deeper voice, but it's our amps are hand wired, point to point.
Give me those.
wiring.
I'm starving.
Leave me alone. Can I have some? So yeah, it's the gap. So it's amazing because it's like, first of all, folks, if I'm going to buy an amp and it's point to point wiring, the only person that should be thanking me is my amp tech if I have a problem with the amp and he's got to repair it. Otherwise, it's on his ass to try to get in there and microscopically pull out. You know what I mean? It's like no one else gives a shit. The amp's going to sound the same. I don't give a fuck if you got a hand-wired fucking 1959. If you have a hand-wired 1959 and you have a regular PCB board 1959 Marshall, and you take the PCB one to a tech and have them change a couple of the values of resistors, you're going to have a better sounding amp than that hand-wired amp. And that's just the fact. I'm just saying that your tech is going to be angry.
That's what it is, between amplifiers, it's just each person's personal
Zim,
design.
we'll see you later, sir.
Okay, thanks, guys. I got bad practice at 8:30 tonight.
All righty. Have at it. Rock on.
And just for the record, it was John Leslie.
Ooh.
Oh, John the asshole Leslie.
Yeah.
They called him the asshole because he looked like an asshole. He had a crooked eye.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think anyone that plays well, it is all in the hands of the player. But the thing is, when you play well and you have a nice sounding amplifier, I mean, there's no question about it. If you listen to, like, when you watch, there's a video that I posted. Can you post it in the Krell? I'm going to post it in the private. You post it in the main.
Yep.
So this video, this guy showing a Friedman modded Marshall. Now, the guy who's the same player is playing both Van Halen parts on a stock 59 and then the Friedman modded. And you can hear for yourself what's in the fingers and what's in the amp. And there's a lot in that amp. But, if you're a bad player and you play the Van Halen sounding amp, you're going to sound like a bad player on a Van Halen sounding amp. You ain't going to sound like Van Halen.
Yep.
You're going to sound like, you might even sound like Van McCoy. Do the hustle.
Sound like Van
Johnson.
Like Van Johnson.
Or you might sound more like Bobby Van around 1981 on his deathbed from cancer.
Yeah. He was
That's
married to that girl on Match Game there.
Elaine Joyce. Yes, he was.
Elaine Joyce, yeah.
He was also the host of Make Me Laugh.
Make Me Laugh. Yep. And he couldn't get Frank Zappa to laugh.
And Bobby Van wasn't trying to, but
no, I mean they couldn't.
Roger and Gallagher. Bobby Van was also on with Elaine Joyce on Tattletales with Bert Convey.
Mm-hmm. Well, trying to get Frank Zappa to laugh is pretty hard.
What is it?
I said trying to get Frank Zappa to laugh would be pretty hard for anyone.
Right. Yeah, I mean Zappa. Funny thing about Zappa, people are in the whole Zappa camp about like everything the guy said is gold. And he said a lot of things that were good. Yeah. And then he said a lot of things I think that were stupid. Like when he talks about his guitar playing, he's like, every time I pick up the guitar, I don't know what I'm going to play. He's basically saying he's just jamming over the solo sections and they're not written solos. Well, good for you. I don't like it that way.
I actually like his playing. I mean, it's not the cleanest.
I like his playing.
It's his. I mean, the way he plays and the phrasing and everything, it's interesting. I was just listening
You're going to go see Alcatraz play. Yngwie Malmsteen's playing with the band. They're doing Krina Kuri. You want to hear the solo to Krina Kuri or want to hear him just fucking noodle?
Well, actually, I've seen Yngwie enough. I don't need to see Yngwie anymore either way. So
you haven't seen him play Krina Kuri?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay.
I've seen him like 3 or 4 times. So
you're going to go see Van Halen. Oh, he's dead. Who can we say? Who are you going to go see?
Wolfgang.
Anybody. You're going to go see anyone and you want to hear the...
George Lynch.
You're going to go see Foreigner.
Eric Johnson.
And they're playing Hot Blooded. And you can't wait to hear that quirky guitar solo. But instead of that solo, he decides he's going to just play... He's going to noodle. Nobody wants to hear that. They want to hear they're there to hear the tune. I'm not there to hear you fucking stretch and be like, oh yeah, this is I'm so that part of Zapper I disagree with, which is great with it. I never would see a show because what am I going to sit there and go listen to like, oh, I like the song Black Napkins. The first 7 minutes. After that, give it a fucking rest. It's 2 chords. It's a fucking -7 to a major 9. I'm good. I
tell you that tour, that was Does Humor Belong in Music, that video right there. When they do Whipping Post, his solo in that, there's a point in there where it's just one of the coolest parts I ever heard, and that was improvised. I mean, it was this little snippet. It was like...
Right, and you know what he should have done? He should have took that section, figured out like what Genesis does. Genesis used to just jam, Banks, Rutherford. They would jam, and from those jams, they would get cool parts and then write songs around them.
Well, Zappa,
you don't need to release the 40 minutes of the song. Here's 40 minutes of the song. Make sure to listen to minute 27 to 27:30 because Krellboss says there's a cool lick there.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, for a 20-watt head, $1,000. That's another thing I don't understand. You guys may not understand this. Okay, so Marshall makes these 20-watt amps, and they make the 20-watt plexi, and let's just call it a plexi, even though we all know it's the 1959 circuit, right? They make that. They make the 800 2203 circuit in the 20-watt, and they make the what was the third one that came out? There was 3 that initially came out. 2203, the 1959.
You're the expert on this.
Well, whatever. Now they've come out with the JTM, right? So you got the JTM 20. The Jubilee's new. The Jubilee and the JTM are new. The first 3 studios. Okay, so the JTM 45. So anyways, guys, the difference between a JTM 45 and a 1959 circuit is the tubes. Initially, the JTM 45 became the JTM 50, and then it became the JTM 100. And then when they got bought by, when Rose Morris came in to distribute, they changed the name and changed the tubes from KT66s to EL34s and called the amp the Super Lead. But it's the same fucking amp. It was the JTS. There's Ben Tom right there on it. Exactly. The JMP 100 was the JTM 100. So when they make this JTM 20, I'm like, okay, so it's the same as the Plexi. Now, I will say the Plexi has gone through, I mean, every year they were experimenting like crazy with different resistors in different parts of the amp. So the amp's voice is changing constantly. But basically, if you wanted to mod a JTM 100 into any version of the JMP 100, you could go in with maybe 2 resistors and do it, other than the fact that the tube set is different. But on this amp, they put the same tube set in. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. They put in EL34s. They're calling it a JTM. I don't understand. Anyway, so I didn't understand what they're doing. And then what are they going to say? We're voicing it like a JTM? Well, the voice of the JTM was basically the voice of the JMP. Anyways, that's my beef with why did they come up with a JTM? You know? Yeah, exactly, T-Boys. But that's the whole point. I mean, because, it's funny. People always sit there and they talk about like a real Plexi, which was 67 and 68. Meanwhile, in those 67, 68, there's like 3 or 4 different versions of that amp going out because they were always tweaking with different resistors to see what sounded best. So some might be harsh, some might be too bright. But like they say, oh, that's the year to get them. Why? Because you like the plexiglass? I'll make you a piece of plexiglass and charge you the money. Anyways, that's my thought on the JTM 20. I just don't know. I think Marshall there is just trying to merchandise or market it. And also, I don't think that Jubilee looks anything like the controls that was on the real Jubilee. So I don't understand what they're doing there. It kind of just looks like it's a hot rodded 2203. I don't know. I don't know. All right. So, Joe.
Can't see.
We were talking earlier about a couple of different lists. There was an acoustic thing you had going for me. Modern EL34s have more noise than ones just 10 years ago. I could see that. I think I'm switching all my EL34s to 6CA7s, whatever the hell it is. C6A7. I don't know what the hell it is. But that was in that amp that I posted there, and that thing sounds good. Nina Hartley, like the JMP. My wife's got a cock in her ass and an ass in her cock. Right? That's what he says.
Yeah,
my wife's got an ass in her cock in the driveway.
Little Bill.
I don't know. I don't know why Marshall would do something like that. Maybe they think it's funny. Pete, is it funny?
They think it's fucking funny. It's not fucking funny.
All right.
Who, me?
Oh, Cordell Stewart really let himself go, huh?
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, I know, Jonathan. I'm just saying, why even come out with the other ramp? Like, it's just aesthetically, they made it look more pleasing, I guess, than the typical 1959 Plexi. I just wondering why not. 6 CA7s. How do they run in there? I'm interested. All right, let's hear what you got, Joe. What do you got for me?
Well, I got a issue of let's see right here. Total Guitar that has the 50 greatest acoustic songs of all time. This is the
here is going to be on
2023 issue.
All right.
So would we like to do this?
Yeah.
All right. Let me move this.
Total Guitar?
Total Guitar.
Interesting, Tom, because I think that's the tubes that Friedman puts in the amp that he says to use a variac, which would make it run cooler. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Joe.
No, the thing just, give me a second. It just went nuts.
Total Guitar, that's an English magazine, isn't it?
Probably. I'm reloading the page. I moved it from one monitor to the other because I like to see your reactions.
Oh, thanks.
All right. Let's go back. There we go.
What's the topic on this?
The 50 greatest acoustic guitar songs of all time.
Acoustic guitar songs.
Yeah, I know Wish You Were Here is going to be on there. Neil Young's going to be on there. Hey, my.
Well, let's see. Back in June, Total Guitar posted a poll on GuitarWorld.com to find out your views on the greatest acoustic guitar songs of all time. They are, of course, so many to choose from. And our short list of 120 landmark tracks covered early blues, folk and rock and roll classics, the modern pop hits, and rock epics. There was just one simple rule for inclusion. In every song, the acoustic guitar should be a significant feature. So they had 75,000 plus public votes, and here they are running down the top 50.
Pinball Wizard.
Well, you never know. All right, coming in at number 50 is The Entertainer by Chet Atkins.
Well, he does a good job with that. But I mean, like, just about everything he did on acoustic. Yeah,
that should be in the list. The song sucks. It shouldn't be in the top 50 anything unless songs that bore me to tears.
I think Missionera would probably be his better song.
Here's a song from the movie Sting 2, so I know nobody knows it.
Well, speaking of Sting,
you know where that's from.
Is it Simpsons?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a grift I learned from the Sting 2, so I know nobody knows it.
Speaking of Sting, he's at number 49 with Shape of My Heart.
Ooh, nice song, but I wouldn't say that's acoustic, is it?
Yeah, Shape of My Heart is clean guitar.
It's clean, right?
Electric.
It's what
clean electric.
I mean, see if I remember. See if I remember how it goes. Oh no, it's Right? It's like a...
Yeah, that is acoustic. Wow. It's like...
All right.
Okay. Coming in at number 48, Somebody I Used to Know by Mike Dawes.
Is that the same song that Porter Wagner and Dolly Parton sang?
Yeah.
Coming in at 47 is Bruce Springsteen with The River.
I like The River.
Okay. 46, Robert Johnson with Crossroad Blues.
I actually prefer that by Calhoun Tubbs. Wrote a little song about it. Want to hear it? Here it goes. Your wife's nothing but a lying whore. Ooh.
Coming in at 45, Coming in at 45, 1952 Vincent Black Lightning by Richard Thompson.
Oh, Richard Thompson's a great player, but I never heard that song.
I've never heard that song.
Oh, okay, Hugh. I don't know who he is.
Coming in at 44
For the win.
is Spanish Fly by Van Halen.
Yeah, that's got to be on the list.
Spanish Fly.
Van Halen, yeah. Coming in at
That's 44?
That's 44.
Okay.
43 is Just Breathe by Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
I don't think Pearl Jam has anything better than Spanish Fly.
Right. You can say, I bet you can say that about a lot of these when you think about it. Coming in at number
Pearl Jam fan.
Coming in at number 42, judging by how many times Elroy posts this, I think he'd be happy. It's Mediterranean Sundance by Al Di Meola.
Yep.
Excellent.
He's frequently posting Al Di Meola.
Lucia.
Yep.
Right. Coming in at 41, Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell.
I knew that
Good song. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
Coming in at number 40, Iris by Goo Goo Dolls.
And I don't want the world to see me.
That's more prevalent with mandolin, I would say.
No, it's a guitar in this.
It is guitar, but
yeah.
All right. Coming in at 39, Drifting by Andy McKee.
That's the big internet sensation where he taps and slaps the guitar. That came out like in.
Okay. Coming in at 38 is Classical Gas by Mason Williams.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be on there. Yeah.
I like what's his name's version, Tommy Emmanuel's.
Oh yeah, I've seen him do it live a couple times.
Yeah.
Coming in at 37, The Clap by Yes.
Tommy Emmanuel in Bangkok. You guys don't remember the series Emmanuel in Bangkok, Emmanuel?
Yeah.
I remember.
Old Cinemax softboard.
I remember.
All right, what was that last one you said? I'm sorry.
37 was The Clap by Yes.
I knew that would be on there.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of I'm not a big Steve Howe fan acoustically. I mean, I like his playing a lot, but
you can't say his tone acoustically is shit, though. I mean, it's just an acoustic.
No, he sounds all right. No, exactly.
Number 36, Dave, I'm sure you'll be happy that this is above all the other ones we've done so far. It's Good Riddance, Time of Your Life by Green Day.
The gayest song ever.
Oh yeah, that's it. We have a winner. No more list. That's the undisputed winner.
Can you imagine that ahead of Spanish Fly, Al Di Meola? Shh. Okay. Coming in at 35 is Angelina by Tommy Emmanuel.
Okay.
I know that one, yeah.
34 is Wonderwall by Oasis.
Horrible.
33, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Queen.
It's great iconic.
I knew it was going to be on there.
Coming in at 32, Jolene by Dolly Parton.
Great song.
31, Wanted, Dead or Alive, Bon Jovi.
Hey, that's iconic.
Jolene's a great song.
It's iconic.
Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah.
Now we're at the top 30. Redemption Song, Bob Marley and the Wailers.
So these songs of freedom.
See, you should holding your
Redemption
playing a
song.
little bit of each one as I say it. That
Right.
will, you know,
All I ever had.
I said.
I like Bob Marley a lot. My
Okay,
favorite by him is Exodus. Exodus.
I mean, my phone probably died.
coming in at 29, "Life by the Drop" by Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Life by the Drop?
Yeah. Every time that starts, I keep on thinking it's going to go into that fucking Melissa Etheridge song, but then unfortunately it goes into the
And that's when
beginnings
you,
are
and
very
that's when you
similar.
get bummed out when it doesn't.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, I wish this was Come to Your Window.
Damn.
Coming in at 28, "Romeo and Juliet" by Dire Straits.
Phenomenal. One of my okay, so far that is probably my favorite on the list so far.
Okay.
And I just love the song, and it's a cool what do you call that? A resonator acoustic, or nylon with it, something I forget. Go on.
No, a resonator.
Yeah,
Coming in at 27 is "Nutshell" by Alice in Chains.
great song. Is Nutshell the
Is
one
that
that
on Jar
goes?
of Flies?
Gang, gang, gang. It's what's that?
Is that on Jar of Flies?
Yeah, I think it's the one that sounds. Isn't Nutshell the one that sounds like the Joe Walsh song "Turn to Stone"? Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they came out, I can never place the song titles to those acoustic songs that they did on there.
Well, "I Stay Away" is easy.
Yeah, I know that one, but
Yeah, the ones I get confused with is "Rotten Apples," and I think I'm singing "Nutshell," the one that sounds like "Turn to Stone." Moving on.
Coming in at 26 is "Carry On" by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Great song. Great.
Coming in at 25 is Johnny Cash, "I Walk the Line."
No.
that's a great acoustic song.
I can only think of 100 country songs I'd rather hear that have an acoustic guitar in it.
Coming in at 24, "Maggie May," Rod Stewart.
I wish Rod wasn't on the list.
Okay. Coming in at 23, "More Than Words" by Extreme.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
It's iconic.
You know, if you like it or not, there's no.
In Koreatown.
Yeah.
It's, it's yeah. There's no denying it.
Coming in at 22, that's a song I really like. "Crazy on You" by Heart.
That's a nice one with Silver Wheels intro.
Yeah.
Coming in at 21, "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay," Otis Redding.
Awful. Awful. I hate that song.
I'm running over. I loved that as a kid.
Oh, I hate it. In fact, I would rather listen to the version that Michael Bolton sings with Neil Sean on guitar than the Otis Redding version.
Okay, Dave, one of your favorites coming in at 20, "Tangled Up in Blue" by Bob Dylan.
Oh, it's my favorite
Tangled
song.
Up in Blue.
Ooh.
In all honesty, I'd rather hear Hootie and the Blowfish. I only want to be with you.
Oh my goodness. Coming in at 19, "Patience," Guns N' Roses.
Oh, horrible.
I love that song.
You do?
I do.
Yeah, I can't.
Do you like to do that slow snake dance when you hear it?
Coming in at 18, "Nothing Else Matters," Metallica.
That's not acoustic. That's not acoustic.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Coming in at 17. Now it's interesting. The number 17 song is, you ever have a song pop back into your head and you just listen to it like for about a week, just nonstop?
Yeah.
That was this song, "Fast Car" by Tracy Chapman.
Yeah.
I love that song.
That just made a resurgence. It just made a resurgence.
I play it every now and then on Saturday nights. If somebody requests it, Jim and I will play it.
Coming in at 16 is "The Needle and the Damage Done" by Neil Young.
I knew Neil Young would be on there. It's one of the first acoustic tunes I learned.
Him too.
Coming in at number 15. Okay. Coming in at 15 is "Angie," the Rolling Stones.
I knew that would be on there, definitely.
Great one. Great one.
Coming in at 14 is Tom Petty with "Free Fallin'."
Terrible. I mean, it's okay. It's just the songs are nothing.
Coming in at 13, Can't Find My Way Home, Blind Faith.
Great.
All right. 12 is My Sweet Lord, George Harrison.
It's more like strumming. It's like it's not a great part.
That's there because of the name George Harrison. The song's not good.
Coming in at 11, Fire and Rain, James Taylor.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Can't argue with that.
We are at the top 10. Coming in at number 10, Landslide, Fleetwood Mac.
That's a great guitar part.
Yeah, it's a great song.
That's a good one. Coming in at number 9 is The Boxer, Simon and Garfunkel.
Great.
Great.
They have a lot of songs that could have made this list, right?
Oh, yeah,
Am I right?
absolutely.
All right, okay.
Sounds of Silence.
They could have taken the top 50 spots.
Yeah, shit. Coming in at number 8, I'm surprised it's not top 5. It's Don McLean with American Pie.
I'm thanking God. That's song to me is like
No denying it.
The endless song.
torture.
Coming in at number 7, Dust in the Wind, Kansas.
Great. It's so funny that those two songs are on the list next to each other, and for me, they couldn't be more miles apart as a song. Like Dust in the Wind, I can listen to all the time. I think it's great. Steve Walsh's voice is awesome. Don McLean, it's like from the second, when like you guys ever talk to like a really old person that just talks and you're like, where the fuck is this going? You're chewing your arm like you're in a bear trap, right? And when I hear the opening line to that song, a long, long time ago, for fuck's sake, I gotta go.
Well, that's one of those songs they used
A
to
long,
play.
long song to go.
They called it a taking a shit song because if you had to take a shit, you put that song on because you could go do it and it'd be playing when you came back.
When I used to stream
If you're a
live
DJ.
on Twitch, I was fasting at the time 3 years ago, and I would stream on a night where I would eat, and nature calls. You don't not answer that call. I would put on the Song Remains the Same live, Dazed and Confused.
29 minutes.
29 minutes and change, baby. Okay, coming in at number 6.
Get totally
is-
emptied out.
Oh yeah, I don't want to rush.
You could always listen to Thick as a Brick. 43 minutes.
Oh geez, I don't want my legs to go dead.
Yeah, the title of that
I have
song
no
is,
idea who this person is. It's from 2013. Number 6 is Passion Flower by John Gomm. Gomm.
There's the Hipster Doofus entry.
It's got to be the Hipster Doofus entry.
I
Okay,
have no
but
idea.
here he is changing how we think about acoustic guitar. No one's ever heard of him though. Okay, coming in at number 5, Blackbird, the Beatles.
Yeah, that's classic.
Coming in at number
Iconic
4.
for sure.
Okay. You don't like it?
What, Blackbird? No, I'm saying
Yeah.
it's iconic.
Okay.
I don't know if it's my favorite
not
Beatles
great.
song or should
Yeah.
be on a list of great acoustic songs, but the playing on it's iconic and it's
All right.
Number
4, Eric Clapton, Tears in Heaven. You knew it's going to be
No.
somewhere. I wouldn't put it at number 4, but Coming in at number 3, Hotel California, the Eagles.
What an awful, before we go back to Hotel California, what an awful song, Tears in Heaven.
Oh, man.
Like every time Clapton hears it, hey, remember when your kid fell out the window?
Well, but yeah, but he wrote it, so
You're on.
I know, but he wrote this song about his kid,
I know.
and he's
but
like,
still.
and it became a huge hit, and everyone's like, play Tears in Heaven. Oh, you mean the song where my kid fell out the window? Yeah, let me cue that
Tears
up.
are
I
in
can't
heaven,
wait.
but apparently a screen was in the closet. Where the kid went out the window.
Okay. 3
No,
was
that's what happened.
No, I know.
Who was in the closet?
No, the screen.
The fuck happened to the cat?
I'm pretty sure. Hold on, let me just check my notes before the show. Krill, didn't I tell you have to start getting Jewish writers? These jokes are not floating. All right, go on.
It wasn't even really meant that much.
We're in the top 3. Hotel California, number 3.
Hotel California is a great song. I guess I wouldn't call it an acoustic song, considering Tequila Sunrise, Saturday Night, Train Leaves Early in the Morning, fucking Take It Easy. Those are acoustic songs.
I know what 2 and 1 are.
What's number two?
Number 2 is Wish You Were Here. Number 1 is Stairway to Heaven.
Number 2 is Wish You Were Here. Number 1, of course, is Stairway to Heaven. The article on the opening page is a picture of Jimmy Page, and it says the 50 greatest. Yes, Stairway to Heaven.
Okay. Let me just say this about that.
You got a problem with Stairway to Heaven?
I do.
Oh, fuck.
It's only the first few minutes. It's the first few minutes of the song, and then the 12 string takes over. Then, Over the Hills and Far Away, Hey, Hey, What Can I Do?
It met their criteria.
I'm just saying there's better songs by Zeppelin that have acoustic.
But didn't do it well.
About 39.
How did Ed Dana makes a great point. Oh, so does Cold Roses. Salisbury Hill, amazing. Yeah. Never Going Back Again from Fleetwood Mac, fantastic. Operator from all great songs, Cold Roses. And then Jerry's Breakdown, which is Jerry Reed on a nylon string guitar is one. I mean, if you're going to have Spanish Fly there, you got to have Jerry's Breakdown.
Alice's Restaurant.
Oh, Woody Guthrie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the way. Exactly, Hugh.
Arlo Guthrie.
That's the Way by Zeppelin's another great one.
Listen, let me ask a serious question though. All these songs you're listing now, you would give them a spot on this list and take out Green Day?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That Green Day song reminds me of the 100th episode of Seinfeld when they did the best of and they were going back and they're like trying to make you have feelings for like Elaine.
That was the final episode, wasn't it?
Oh, the second 100. It was the second compilation episode. You're right.
Well, that song they used as the very ending of the whole series.
Oh, I don't. Did they? No, they did it when they were doing like
no, because when they all went to court and they were all in jail and shit. Wasn't that played after they got out? Didn't they play that song?
I have a glaring omission on there. Little Martha.
Little Martha on the dobro. It's a great song. Oh, is it a dobro? No, it's an acoustic guitar. The dobro is the Jerry Douglas version. Yeah. Well, there's some other songs that were missed on this list. Let's just say Melissa.
Yep.
You could say any Seals and Crofts song. Summer Breeze.
Midsummer's Daydream, Rick Emmett. That definitely belongs there instead of friggin' Green Day.
It's so funny. I watched a concert the other night from 1987, Triumph. And boy, was it the gayest thing I've ever seen. I watched it and I said, what was I? Some sort of fag? What the hell was I listening to this for? He's walking around with that shark point guitar. The songs are so, and who brought up Can't Find My Way Back Home? What is the name of the song on Thunder 7 that Rick Emmett just fucking steals? Can't Find My Way. No, on Thunder 7.
Thunder.
And what kind of name is Thunder 7? Like, what do we have? Grandizer? Fucking, what were those things called?
Force 5.
You remember Grandizer
and Space Cateers.
Manga? Anime?
King.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the Thunder 7. They added 2 more. But I'm telling you right now, this Triumph show, if you guys can catch it, it's from 1987. It starts with a little bit of a laser show where the guy's talking in laser. And
that's the tour I saw.
Oh my God. It is like just the outfits and everything. I am like, this was a band. And I remember Rick Emmett saying that the label kind of lost faith in them. And he's like, I can write hit songs. No, you can't. No.
Okay, I can go down track list here. Well, it's not Spellbound.
No.
It's not Rock Out Roll On. It's not Cool Down, I don't think.
Cool Down.
It is Cool Down?
Listen to Cool Down for 1 second and tell me if it's Blind Faith.
Okay, well.
It's absurd.
Try.
Hey guys,
Hold
it's
on,
time
folks.
for me. I gotta split.
All right, man, Matt. Good seeing you. We'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you. Good night,
Krellbar's
guys.
just looking up something on the Commodore 64. He'll be just a few hours.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the
Good night,
computer
guys.
attachment to the to ColecoVision he's using. All right, Matt. We'll see you, man.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, late.
Good
All
night.
right, so Krell, what do you got? You listen to it yet?
Yeah.
Is it
You
is
don't
it
hear
the same?
that, do you?
No, but is it the same?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to that song since high school, but I remember I was like saying, wasn't this a fucking Steve Winwood tune? Anyways, that concert is not good. Now, I've seen that the S Festival concert with them is fantastic. 83, they were on their game.
Well, there was the Sport of Kings tour, the one you're saying that Ingve was supposed to open up for them, and Ingve
Yeah.
busted his ankle in Worcester. And so who opened up for him?
Ingve had a stroke of luck and broke his ankle.
White Lion opened up for him. So I got to see Vito.
White Lion was like, the band's going to come out, but do me us a favor. Just wait. Wait.
Yeah.
Ingve's doctor says, listen, I got good news and bad news. What do you want? He goes, give me the bad news. You broke your ankle. What's the good news? You won't have to listen to Triumph every night. Thank Christ. And don't get me wrong, I love Allied Forces. I love Just a Game. And I love Never Surrender. I thought the Thunder 7 album sucked. I'm sorry, anyone that likes that record. I thought that album was terrible.
But
Oh, yeah. From the beginning, Ed Dana, way to kick it in. From the beginning is a great acoustic song. And then there was Roundabout in a roundabout way.
The Follow Your Heart video was filmed in Providence
Follow
Civic
Ya.
Center.
Can we
No,
not?
I don't like the
was that
song.
Thunder
It's
7?
like-
Is that Thunder 7?
Yeah.
Okay. On Never Surrender, the big track was Too Much Information and Never Surrender. Never Surrender. That's an anthem you tell a kid. Get out there, never surrender. Follow your heart. Here, listen, what are you selling me? Sunshine and farts? Get the fuck lost. Son.
Wasn't Life of Fantasy on
Life of Fantasy's on Never Surrender. That's a fantastic song. But seriously, Follow Your Heart is the gayest song. And he's running around in like
about Spellbound.
It's terrible. The record stinks. They lost it. Whatever. Look, every band has a window. That window, that time came up right for them. Right after Never
they jumped
Surrender.
out of it.
They were like a World of Fantasy. Great song. Here's Thunder 7 next. There is a slow song on Thunder 7 I thought was good. It's the instrumental. It could be the last song on side 2.
Little Boy Blues.
Boom. That's a good one. It's a little blues solo from him. Like, he's a great guitar player. But those songs were they just got worse. I mean,
By the way, I am using AI to search now. I no longer Google search.
nice. So, like, Magic Power's a decent tune. Anything on Allied Forces, except for the song Allied Forces. You guys listen to the song? Rock troops are on the move and ready to go. Yeah, something I'm not fearing if I'm in a war is rock troops.
Oh, no, not the rock troops. Retreat.
Not the guys in black T-shirts and work boots.
I'll be right back. I got to put Mikey to bed.
Yeah, quick. Somebody get the guys from UPS to hire people from the warehouse. Rock troops are on the way. Rock troops. Oh, Give a Little Bit is another one. Great one. Give a Little Bit should have been on. There's so much Supertramp. What do we got going on, Jerry? Jerry got a Blues Junior.
It's a Pro.
A Pro Junior. Sorry. Oh, there it is. I can see the knobs now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool amp, though. The cover came for it today.
Excellent. It's a good little amp. You put a pedal in front of it if you need to. If you don't, just crank
I'll tell
it.
you, dude, it goes to
It's only, 12 volts? 12 watts, I mean?
I'm not really sure. It's loud enough
It's
for my
12 or
little,
15. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it is 15.
Yeah, hot rod series. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's got a 110.
Yeah.
And a beautiful
They're
tone.
fun.
Though. Yeah,
Yeah, they're fun.
But it's just like
well, if that's the tweed, what's the speaker? Because the tweed they only put it in the.
It's blonde. It's rough blonde, and it's made in USA.
Oh, okay. So it's pre-99,
I guess, and it's got ox blood. So it looks
what's
like
the
Jenna Jameson?
You know, I can see that. What's the speaker?
The special design.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me just flip it around. I'll show you.
Yeah, if it's made in USA and it's a hot rod series, it's before 99 or 99 or early. I think 2000 they went to Mexico.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just a special design. It's got the brown and gold label. It's got a nice magnet on it, and it's tight.
What's it? Two EL84s.
Yeah,
and then there's a couple of 12 AX7s.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah.
Nice sounding thing, but it's cool. It's like on. Yeah, it goes to 12.
I mean, are you liking the clean or you liking it for the dirty?
Well, here it is. Put it on 3. It's a nice warm clean, straight up, warmer still, and then you dime it. Fuck, man, what a wallop! Sounds awesome. Yeah. So it gets like 3. It's like half loudness, say, and then 6. It's like big, loud, and then it just folds in on, it doesn't get really louder. It just gets grindier.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to have it even have a little bit more, you could put like an what are those things called? EC83s in V1.
I don't know, man. I got it from a dude who was like way into this shit, so he may have already kind of done his thing.
Yeah.
It sounded, I played it for like 15 seconds and I'm like, what the fuck? This thing's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
no, they're good amps.
The price was right, so I grabbed it.
Yeah, in fact, Jackson Brown for years has just been playing with 2 Pro Juniors on stage. That's what he uses.
Oh, I'd do that. And then you put it through the monitors and shit and all that. Yeah, what a great
you don't have to
sound.
get anyone to schlep your gear after that.
Oh, no, it's fucking pisser. I love it. So
yeah,
that was a good get. I had one of these a long time ago. I had a black one, and I think it was made in Mexico.
Right.
And this just turned out to be blonde USA.
Can we ask what you paid for it?
$2.5.
Oh, you stole it.
I stole it. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. I think it needs a little loving. There's a little, I don't know. I'm going to try.
You can go in.
Pardon me?
You can go in and fix it. Do you work on amps, Jerry?
Well, I'll do what I can I don't have the equipment to test, but I can certainly solder and dude,
right.
How many times you open up a chassis and like, oh, that's why it doesn't fucking work.
No, I know, but I'm talking about like replacing resistors and stuff like that. You really got to have a meter and know what you're looking for.
Casey's
that's what Casey does. Yeah, I know. Casey's good for that.
He's got a lot of patience for that shit, But again, if there's something obvious to me, I'll fix that or replace a switch or something. I'll do that.
Yeah.
You just got to know to, discharge the chassis, right?
Yep.
The tube chassis.
Yeah, no, if anything, if I was going to mod anything or change any have resistors,
short out the capacitors.
It might be to my DSL.
What would you do?
Well, if there's a mod just to make it a little nicer sounding, maybe a little bit more angry,
Okay.
I mean, it's a great sounding amp, and fucking all you need a pedal, put it in front of it. I don't really need to. Like I said, I'm looking at a vintage modern right now and thinking about that. And if I can make it make sense to me to do it, then I will.
What are they asking? What are they asking for that, dude?
Like they're about $800 or $900.
Okay. What does that thing retail for?
Like $2,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they depreciate like you won't believe.
No. I'm not surprised about that. I'm surprised about the list price, the original list price. That just
it was like a Marshall top of the line head at the time in 2006. So you're going back, and it's a very cool amp. It does a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know. I actually watched a video where the guy who designed it was talking about it, and even he was explaining it terribly. And I know the amp, so I'm like sitting there going, why are you describing, like he's making little comments, but not really going into what the amp does. And what the amp is, it's It basically is an amp that's designed to work like a plexi with a jumper. So you're having a bright channel and a dark channel going at the same time.
That's cool.
Right. And so they have the volume knobs for these are called detail and body. Well, that makes someone think that like something different. How about just calling it the bright volume and the fucking normal volume? And then there's a what is it called? A high definition button. And that adds more gain. But it's just a third gain stage. Just call it what it is, an extra gain stage. They sit there, but that's what makes the amp modern. You know, it's like, which is cool because you can kind of, if you want, pull back the body a little bit and you'd have more of a 2203 nasty tone, or you could add a little body there and make it sound like, more of like a more rounded, sorry, not so Marshall-y sounding high, but it's basically
this amp from? Like what time frame?
2006.
Oh, okay.
It came out, and I was watching the builder that the guy who worked at Marshall, that was the designer of it, was basically saying that there's never been a spin-off of the JTM 45 other than the SLP, which is like the same amp at the tubes, but nobody built off that platform. And so, which is ridiculous because then they put, so that's why it's got the KT66 tubes in there. So basically it's like the original, if you get the 50, 100, it's like a JTM 50 with a jumper.
Yeah, it sounds like the Dream Mod kind of thing.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
So, and a handsome amp.
That's why they call it detail and body and all that shit, because they got $2,000 for the fucking thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, plus they also didn't tell anybody what was going on. Then nobody was saying, like they'll always say to you, the guy in the video was saying it's a one-channel amp. Yes, it is, but the channel is, even though there's one channel, it's two parallel channels. So that's how the amp runs. Like I saw a whole breakdown of the you know what I mean. So it's like, whatever.
I have one of those.
The Black Flag, exactly, Hannibal.
I got somebody made a kit like a Kendrick.
The
Marshall, what is it? The Blues Breaker. So it's got the 4 inputs.
Yeah, the Blues Breaker is a JTM.
Yeah.
So
and it's just fucking just doesn't have a lot of grind. It's not like what you expect. And then you got to jump the channels together and get,
that's the same thing, same as the Plexi.
I know, but dude. So I have one of those, right? Even though it's a project, it's like a clone, right?
Yep.
And it's just not that easy to. I so much prefer the JCM 800 or the earlier ones with the.
So any of the mods that are in the Super Lead, you can do to that JTM.
Oh, yeah.
Which will make it sound a lot nicer. Which is a lot of to do with the resistors on V1, and there's a couple of resistor points in there that you can change the values and make that amp more palatable, because you got to remember the JTM Blues Breaker was the first of any of that kind. That's the original circuit of the amp. I mean, that's like the original amp.
Yeah, it's got
which
a nice
eventually
tone to
became,
it, but
which became the Super Lead. But through, like I said, changes. They put ELT 34s instead of KT66s, and
it's just like, I know what I know now, and just like fucking the 800 is like bang. That's the sound in my head. You know what I mean? I like the other amp, but it's like for a giggable sound,
it's a great sound.
It is, but it's a little rough, but it's it's totally workable.
It's great sound. I mean, the 800. I mean, when you say the 800, you really mean the 2203, 2204.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 4010. That 112.
Right, I know, but I'm saying, but that's the 20. That circuit is the same circuit that came out in 1976.
Yes, and I like the sound of that head.
It's just got a different plate on it.
Yeah, but that's modern sounding compared to the other shit. You know what I mean? And then you put a little.
Well, it's the volume. Nobody wanted to. Yeah, people were dying, and it's one signal.
Boom. Oh, I know. It's pisser.
Which, of course, you don't have to jump. Everyone thinks like to get some decent sounds out of a Plexi, you have to jump it. Eddie didn't jump it. He's right in the fucking high input. You can go high input. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. Exactly.
But the reason why it's nice to jump it is when you pull back, you have all that bassy volume and you don't sound like a tin machine. All right, Joe, what else do you got for me today?
Hey, that's it for me. Good to see you guys. I was playing at an open mic and I'm done.
All right, Jerry. Have a good one, man.
All right. So everybody be good. Have a good
day.
night. I'll catch up with you. All right.
Catch you later.
Nice to see you.
Bye.
Okay, let me go to that link I saved. Hold on. Give me a second. I don't want to lean forward. I'm fucking tired.
I don't want to lose.
Guitar World's top 50 albums of the 80s. Guitar Player Magazine, 25 under the radar albums every guitarist needs to hear.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Wait, what was that time? What was that one?
Guitar Player Magazine, 25 under the radar albums every guitarist needs to hear.
Yes.
Okay.
Now that's a list.
Yeah. Well, let's see the list.
I'm just saying the
It's a good
idea
idea
of
for
a
a
list.
list.
Let me scroll down the bottom. It's okay. Let me increase the size of this because it's small. All right. Coming in at number 25 is Link Ray, Shadow Man.
I
thought
imagine
they'd
that's
say
the album with Rumble.
Probably. Let me move this over here. I want to see the reactions. Okay, coming in at 24 is ZZ Top, Tejas.
That better not be the only ZZ record.
Coming in at number 23, Jimmy Witherspoon, Spoonful.
How creative.
Hipster doofus.
Coming in at number 22, Mike
Blues
Stern,
guy,
Upside Downside.
He's a great player. It's like I never liked the sound with all the chords.
I don't care so much for his playing. It sounds like he's angry at the strings. He's always like he has the touch of a blacksmith on him.
Though the title track I did have on my old playlist in my iPod. I did like
Although
that.
I think he's good. I'm not a fan.
Coming in at 21 is Weather Report, 8:30.
I know Weather Report. I know a couple
This is all
of
jazz
songs, but it's
stuff.
like, yeah.
Okay, coming in at number 20 is Thin Lizzy, Black Rose, a rock legend.
Great. That's
I
with
agree.
Gary Moore.
Coming in
Great.
at coming in at 19, Montrose with Montrose.
Never got into them.
It's okay. It's
Coming
not
in-
the best. It's not the best guitar work that Sammy Hagar sang over. That's for sure.
Coming in at 18 is George Benson with Bad Benson.
I have no idea
He's an
what's
awesome
on that,
guitar
but
player.
but yeah, you. Just
What year does it say? What
almost
year
any
it's from?
Benson.
No. It shows the
All right.
album cover. That doesn't help.
Get any George Benson album, even the ones
Yeah, he's
that
great.
are the pop ones. It's like
He's great.
Coming in at 17 is the Division Bell, Pink Floyd.
I don't know if that's something that I would say this is a great guitar record that's underrated. What was the big one? The Dogs of War on that one?
Vision
I
Bell.
don't remember.
No,
Yeah.
was that on
No,
Distant Sound of Thunder? No.
it's on Division Bell.
Oh, okay.
Okay, coming in at 16, Dave, you're gonna love this one. It's Living Color, Time's Up.
Actually, that's my favorite of their three albums.
No, I told you you'd love it.
Really? Okay, let's see what songs. Elvis is Dead. It's on there.
Stereotype. Or Type, I think it's called.
That type. Geez, I've got the album, but I can't remember the songs on it now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Coming in at 6.
Dogs of War. We were both wrong. It was on Momentary Lapse of Reason. Dogs of War.
Was that what he said?
No, you
Living
said
Color,
Division
Time's
Bell.
Up.
No, before that, we're talking about Pink Floyd.
Oh, the Division Bell.
It's
Momentary
that-
Lapse is
Dogs
the
of War,
earlier one, the
it's on
first one.
Momentary,
You're
so
right.
it's
That's the
the
tour
first
I
one.
saw.
Okay.
Momentary Lapse.
We were both wrong.
All right. 15, UFO, Obsession.
Finally.
Mm.
Yes, Obsession. That's the best UFO album of all the UFO. Better than your Strangers of the Night, you people in the chat that's going to stop bitching Strangers of the Night. Fuck off. It's not good. Obsession is the best. Cherry, Pack It Up and Go, Aubrey Hill, Only You Can Rock Me. That's a fucking record. And if you aren't familiar with Obsession and you're in the chat, you need to listen to it tomorrow. That's an order.
Well, this is the list of 25 albums every guitar player should hear.
Obsession is one of them.
Should have been a longer. Should have been a longer.
And Michael
list.
Schenker MSG should be on this list too. I'll be upset if it's not.
Coming in at 14, it's Albert King and Stevie Ray Vaughan, In Session.
No.
I say yes.
This about incest? What?
A couple of guys playing blues licks. Let me tell you.
Oh, you just hate the blues.
I don't. It's just you don't need a record of it.
I do. I need the video of it as well, and I own the video of it. Okay. 13.
You do?
Yes, I do. 13, Gary Moore, Corridors of Power.
Fantastic. Always Gonna Love You. Don't Take Me for a Loser. End of the World is off the charts. Fantastic.
Okay, coming in at number 12, Splatter Cell, OAH.
There always has to be one.
One
asshole's got to come in and ruin the list.
Yeah,
I'm going to give a listen to it, see if it's worth going on. It's saying we have to listen to it, so it's like...
I'm going to put the list in the chat so you guys can listen to it later. We should all listen to each one and talk about it next week.
We don't know, yeah.
And I'll put this in the... Let me put it in the YouTube. Hold on. Well, I'm not going to put it now because you'll see the rest, you bastards. Okay.
Right.
Coming in at number 11, the sensational Alex Harvey Band with The Impossible Dream.
That is Zal Clemenson. There was some interesting stuff that they did, but nothing super great.
Okay. Coming in at 10, we're in the top 10 now. Eric Johnson, 7 Worlds.
I'm not familiar with that album, and I've got Eric Johnson.
Either is Eric Johnson.
Oh, by the way, I want to say sensational Alex Harvey Band. Alex Harvey, Bon Scott, that's where he got his inspiration from. If you see Alex Harvey, you'd say, wow, that's Bon Scott.
Harvey. Coming in at number 9, Jellyfish with Spilt Milk.
Yes. Great.
100%. One of my all-time favorite albums.
Belly Button's good, too.
Belly Button's good, but this one's sensational.
Okay, coming in at number 8 is Merle Haggard, the instrumental sound of Merle Haggard's Strangers.
I have no idea what that
I have a
sounds
feeling I'm going to say no.
No. Okay, coming in at number 7, is Robin Ford, The Inside Story.
Don't know the album, but great player.
I like the album that he had, Something Daughter, with your daughter.
Yeah, Talk to Your Daughter.
Talk to Your Daughter. That was the big one.
Now, he makes a blues interesting. I can listen to him play blues.
And I agree with that.
Is he the one, or was it Alan Holdsworth that said did the better Hendrix? Oh, Dave always says.
No,
that
that's
was Robin Trower.
Robin Trower.
Okay, all right. Coming in at number 6.
Wait, hold on. You don't know the Bridge of Sighs album, Joe? I'm going to tell you right now. When you get off this thing, you look up on YouTube the album Bridge of Sighs.
It's been a long time since I heard it.
You will.
Day of the Eagle.
It is the greatest, one of the best rock guitar albums of all time. And the singing's great, but it's honestly very Hendrixy style, but fantastic.
Okay.
Every song is great.
I'll listen to it. Coming in at number 6 is Free Live.
Never heard the live album.
Live album by the band Free.
Yeah, it's got what's Whiskey, Fire and Water, and All Right Now. I just watched them at Isle of Wight the other day.
Coming in at number 5, we're at the top 5, is The Creation, the complete collection, volumes 1 and 2.
I have no fucking clue. The Creation.
Somebody told me they didn't believe that album existed. That the album was really called Evolution, Volume 1.
Evolution versus Creation.
I don't know. Okay. Coming in at number 4, James Burton and Ralph Mooney, Corn Pickin' and Slick Slidin'.
That's something I probably want to listen to. It's like I have no idea what's on there.
After that fucking tongue twister, I have to listen to it.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be interesting. I think, Hugh, you might be right.
First of all, if you could see the album cover, it's great because the guy's holding a beautiful Telecaster with a maple neck. I love maple necks. But the other guy is standing behind him with his arms crossed, wearing like and he looks like Joe Pesci about to smash someone's face. Like, oh, you think I'm funny? But okay. Coming in at number 3, top
Let me just
three.
tell you something. If I was designing a record and I heard that title, I'd want to have one guy holding a Telecaster and the other guy just fucking balls deep in fried chicken. Just, biting into a giant turkey leg.
Damn.
Right.
Number 3, Larry Carlton, Last Night.
I've got that. That's it. The baked potato. I love that one.
It's good, but I'd rather hear his first album.
I like his tone is just so clean and biting, and it's like it's a very unforgiving tone that's very tasty.
Yeah, on that album he's playing the double, I believe.
Probably.
Right, it's like
in
80,
Valley Arts.
81.
He's playing the Valley Arts guitar.
Yeah, on the double. Yeah, I like Larry's first album too. You.
Okay. We have the number 2 and number 1. And I moved something here. Okay, number 2 is Eddie Boyd, 7936 South Roads.
I have no idea.
That's his address.
Call him, ask him what the
He's
fuck
like, if you find this album, send it back to me.
Yeah, it's the only copy.
Okay, coming in at number 1, Chet Atkins, Hometown Guitar.
Yeah, you knew Chet was going to be somewhere there, but
I have Blue Angel.
I think Chet and Jerry would have been an interesting one. Bingham, what's happening? I think that, and I think, listen, I love Spilt Milk by Jellyfish. I love Obsession by UFO. I love Corridors of Power by Gary Moore. I think that MSG should be in there.
Yeah,
just
they didn't
as much
have
as I think
Imperial
Ingve
Drag
Alcatraz should be in there.
Well,
how about Imperial Drag?
No, but remember, these are...
Yeah, but these are underrated guitar records.
So I don't
That's
think
what I'm
those
saying.
other ones. Yeah.
Oh,
But we got let's throw a backstory for the list.
2 hours, John.
It's from April 6, 2017. It's the guitar player staff actually voted on the list, so that's where that came from. Let's see.
John, do you have your? Well, it's getting late. We're gonna call it soon. But John just built a JTM 45. I know he says he's gonna want to mod it soon. But yeah, I think those are great records. I think that Michael Schenker MSG record's a great record to listen to. For me, let's say if there were 3 guitar albums that I would say you have to listen to, for me it would be Alan Holdsworth.
Metal Fatigue.
I was going to say it's either Metal Fatigue or None Too Soon. I would say if you lean more towards real jazz, get None Too Soon. But if you don't lean towards real jazz, then Metal Fatigue would do you. It's very Van Halen-esque. And then I would say
UK.
Yeah, I like UK. He's on the first record.
Yeah.
What about yeah, I mean, I guess Dimiola, Mediterranean. I mean, Elegant Gypsy would be there for me as far as a record that. I'll tell you another great record that most people may not be familiar with is Pat Metheny's One Quiet Night, where he's playing a baritone acoustic. Yeah, Passion and Warfare is definitely Vi's best. I mean, I could even take an argument for Flexible, but I think Passion and Warfare, production-wise and total vision, is better. Stay on, Dave. John, you want to come on and talk about your amp? I'll send you the link.
I like the Pill album, Hanoi. As a matter of fact, that was my honorable
I sent you the link. It's already in your email, John.
That was in my honorable mentions for best albums of '86.
What is?
Public Image Limited album.
I watched Brad Paisley's Play album is fantastic, as all the Nashville guys play on it. I watched Frank Gambale playing live in '87 with the Chick Corea Electric Band. That guy's a motherfucker. He's just so good. He's playing like an almost clean sound and he's shredding his balls off.
He's just playing through those changes, man. Fucking like nothing.
Who Do We Think We Are by Deep Purple. I don't know if, I mean, it's my favorite Deep Purple album, but that doesn't say much because I don't know how much I like. I got to tell you, the other day I'm in the gym and Knocking on Your Back Door. No, what's the one that Perfect Strangers? Perfect Strangers is like if they sat around and said, guys, how can we write a song like Cashmere but boring? I will remember your name.
Hey, wait a second. You said Hometown Guitar from Chet Atkins. No, that is the album I have from him. The Blue Angels, a song on it.
I like the song Jam Man that he did for that old some insurance company used to run the ad with it. They played the song Jam Man by
Damn, man.
Steve Morse's first solo album, The Introduction, Hugh, was really good with Cruise Missile or Cruise Control, whatever it was called. That was a good record. Jerry Peak, I think, was the bass player who was smoking on that record. I don't think that record aged well, but back when I first heard it, I thought it was really good. And everyone, it's John Bingham. Now, Bingham just built an amplifier from scratch. He went and you bought a kit.
There we go.
John, you bought a kit.
I did. Can you hear me?
The kit was, yeah. I hear you loud as a bell. And the kit was by Mojo Tone, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. You are correct.
and so it's a clone of a JTM 45.
Yeah.
Except in the tubes, you decided to go with the L34s.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how they offer the kit to begin with. You can upcharge and get the 66 if you want, but...
Right, but that was the original, was the 66. And the other is just... So what I was thinking was you could just go watch any of these guys that do plexi mods, and it's the same amp, really.
Yeah, I think it's really similar. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's the...
I already have it kind of figured out what I want to do with it. I'm going to more or less turn it into a Dirty Shirley. And what that amp is from Friedman is it's a 2204 front end,
right?
And a JTM 45 back end. And, in simplest terms, Dave would probably be like, it's not really exactly. I changed values, blah, blah, blah. But, that's what it is.
Right.
So I want to do that. So I'm going to deconstruct the front end and make it cascading gain stages and have a master volume and put an effects loop in there after I do that too.
Okay.
I'm going to do all this stuff. I just didn't want to do that at first.
What do you think of the sound of it now? Right. What do you think of the sound of it stock?
It sounds great, but it's so loud it's unusable.
Right. It's just you're listening to nothing but a pure wall of... Wait, so you don't have a master volume?
I put what they call a Type 3 master volume on it right now.
That's coming off.
And it's coming off. I don't like it.
Yeah, of course.
It's the way the Type 3 master volume works is it's supposed to take the phase from one side and the phase from the other side of the circuit and just cancel each other out. So as you're dialing it down, you're just increasing more of that phase feeding into each other.
Right.
So that's how it works. But what ends up happening is it just sounds like shit when you get it down really low.
Right.
So there's another type that I want to do, and it turns out it's the same one that Friedman uses and Dr. Z uses, and
okay.
The Type 2.
Ooh. Now does that go through another tube stage, or is that not?
No.
Okay.
No, it's just not. It's not from the phase circuit. It's in the bias circuit.
Oh, okay.
However all this works, I don't know.
Right.
But I want to do that because that one I know for certain works great just because I've played 100.
I love the fact you say whatever that is. Meanwhile, you got a soldering iron and you're putting this thing together from scratch.
That's true. Well, it's only kind of true. I mean,
what is it, like paint by numbers, basically? When they give you the kit?
They give you a schematic and they give you a layout. It's basically the layout's just a picture.
Right.
Yeah.
What's harder to figure out that, or how to put a
C2, C3, C4.
What's more difficult, putting the amp together or a dresser from IKEA?
Oh, the amp for sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, there's certain things that they make, like if you're not really savvy with electrical stuff and you're trying to do this for the first time, there are certain things that will hang you up, and they hung me up, for example. Like you take anything with 3 legs on it, like the bias pot has 3 legs, or me when I'm not wearing any pants. It's very much not true.
The human tripod.
Right. That's not even remotely true. No, but anything that has 3 legs, if you're just looking at the schematic, you'd never know, because they just address the fact that this component is there in the circuit. And you could deduce, oh, well, one goes that way and one goes that way, but then where's the third? They don't really give you that information. And the same thing applies to, what was the other thing? There was another thing that really hung me up. I'm trying to remember what it was now. Oh, it had to do with the output, the switch for the speaker impedance.
Yeah.
So like 4/8/16 switch. So they have a drawing, and in the drawing that you're looking at for the layout, it's one type of switch. And you're like, oh, okay, I could see where the wires go. But then you look at the switch they provided, and you're like, it's a totally different switch. Like there's, each of the switches had 4 prongs, but in the drawing, they show all 4 prongs on the same side. And in this one, there's like 1 on one side and 3 on the other. And I'm like, I got it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't that hard. All I had to do was like go and find the part number through like Mauser or something, or Electric Supply House, and then look at the tech specs.
Right.
You just have to like understand exactly what the component legs, what the prongs do. So yeah, that was it. Other than that, yeah, it's kind of paint by numbers.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good looking amp. You have it in your room there? You could just point the camera at?
No, I don't.
All right.
I don't. Sorry. It's a JTM 45, and I have it in
looks
the
like
head,
a Marshall.
It's in the head shell right now, so like I can't really show off the circuitry.
Right. Yeah. No, I was just saying, just the head shell.
Exactly. No, I don't have it here right now. It does make me want to bring up another topic.
Go ahead. And real quickly, do you still have the 3rd power amp?
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, okay.
I have a 3rd power and a Buddha, and I've got a Mesa Mark 525 over there.
Nice.
And I still have the EVH is the one that's at the studio where we
That's
play.
your favorite.
The blue channel is ridiculous. It's perfect rock amp.
Is that the high gain, or is that the medium gain? I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, the middle one. It's perfect. It sounds, it's tight, it's punchy, it's got enough anger and edge to do anything you want to do with rock sound. It doesn't sound overly compressed. I mean, I can't speak highly enough of that channel.
Yeah.
But no, I wanted to say it's actually funny. After I went through this whole exercise and put this whole thing together, it was really, really cool. And I really, really appreciate PC boards after doing it. Because, everybody, you got to get point to point. It's better.
Yeah.
Like I could very easily see this not being better.
Right.
Because how could it be? Like you have to be so careful about like where you run each individual lead so it's not too close to another lead and cause like oscillations, and all of a sudden you got noise.
Oh, so this was on a board?
No, this is point to point.
Right.
Totally, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh, right.
Like,
It would have been.
I went through and did it, and I was like, oh, I could see how anybody that's like working at a factory like the Marshall factory or a boutique amps factory, and they don't give a shit because they don't make enough money because they're just working on a production line. It would be so easy for somebody to just take, and solder that wire and not put it to the side and have it cause oscillations, and all of a sudden the amp is problematic. Whereas on a PC board, you've got your component and there's a discrete lead going to the next component, and it's perfectly placed.
Yeah, you dial it in. I always tell people, like, let me tell you, when you buy an amp and it's hand wired, the only person you're doing a favor is the guy who has to repair it.
That's exactly right.
You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
But like all the people that are like, oh, sound better. It's like, dude, that I don't think so. I think they sound.
Well,
I think they sound
it's
the
more
same.
reliable than a circuit board too. So it's going to go to the repair guy a lot less.
What a piece? What are you talking about?
Point-to-point wiring.
You think
Not
a point-to-point
necessarily.
wire? I disagree with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say not necessarily.
Really?
Yeah. There's no reason why a point-to-point amp would be more reliable or less reliable.
Right. It's the components that usually would fail. And a PCB board.
No, the problem is with the PCB is that you've got those, what do they call it? The tracers there, those little thin aluminum foil things. If anything like heat or any type of electrical short or anything like that, that's just going to fry that little piece of foil up like anything. I think the point-to-point is probably more forgiving.
Yeah, but how often does that happen? It's not really happening
More often
that
than
much.
you think. It's like,
Well,
but it has to be a robust circuit board though. I mean, like if it's a really cheap one of these thin ones that's kind of bendable and stuff.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that, but
they're also
if
making
you're comparing apples to apples, and you've got a $3,000 point-to-point wired amp and a $3,000 circuit board amp. It's a much better board, because you see like Bogners and stuff like that,
Laz.
all circuit boards. How often do you hear about a Bogner going down?
Right.
They're they're built really, really well.
Well, the only thing you're gonna hear about a Bogner from people mainly is some will run hot, but that's what Reinhold is fucking crazy and likes to run his amps hot.
Is it the Shiva that runs with an insane plate voltage? I can't remember what it is. I think it's the Shiva.
It could be. I know the Mephisto. He was trying to figure out when I first saw the amp. He was like, "Give me a year. I got to figure out how to cool this thing down." It's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at it right now. The Shiva's, yeah, it's funny because like a standard Marshall. Now that I know like a little bit and just enough to be dangerous, I'm gonna start acting like I'm an expert.
Well, the plate voltage on a Marshall, I would say, is what, like 320 to 360 or something.
I think the plexis are higher. Like my amp, it's 460.
Oh, that's high.
And on plexis, I think it's still above 400. I don't remember exactly what it is, but the Shiva I'm looking at right now, it says that the plate voltage is 525. So he's running crazy hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. I don't know what
his amps sound good though.
I wonder what a 2204, what that voltage is.
What are you running the microwave?
No, I put the AC on low. Is that coming through really loud or? It's getting
yeah, you're not far off on this, Dave. It's plate voltage is 400, but then there's something called voltage drop that happens, and it's an 80, negative 80, so it'd be a 320 volt peak.
Yeah, 320. Yeah, I watched the guy repairing, and I'm pretty sure that's where I saw the voltage. He said that's the sweet spot for those amps.
Yeah, that's the JCM 800, 2204, 2203. But yeah, the plexis, like I think JTM 45, at least mine was spec'd at 460. And I don't know. Now you got me wondering. 1959 plate voltage. Does anybody in the chat care to know how a vacuum tube works? For anybody that doesn't already know, some of you already might know. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. It's insane.
Plate voltage, yeah, it says here 1959 super lead plate voltage, 450 volts. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, like I said, the original JTM 45 became a JTM 50 and a JTM 100. And then when Rose Morris came in, they branded it as the super lead and put EL34s. Then over the couple of years, they kept changing and modding the whole thing. Laz wants you to tell them how the tube works.
Okay, so it's pretty interesting. In simplest terms, it's got 3 elements inside of it, and
heater.
You've got you've got, like, if we want to be real technical, you'd say you've got the cathode, the grid, and the anode, and the nickname for the anode is the plate. That's what everybody talks about when they're talking about plate voltage.
Right.
It's talking about direct current going and feeding that plate. And what happens is when that plate is loaded with all of this positive plate voltage, it's trying drastically to pull all of the electrons off of the cathode over to it, but the grid's in the way. So the grid is like a valve. And what's happening is the signal, the AC signal, is flowing into that valve. And as it's alternating current, it's opening and closing with that wave. And every time it opens and closes, it's little by little, those electrons are shooting from the cathode over to the plate. And then that's the amplification process. It's pretty wild. I'm sure somebody could explain it a whole lot better than me. I'm obviously
No, I think you did a pretty good job. I mean, like I mean, I haven't had to describe that since like 35 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I find it to be fascinating, and I also find it's not as much voodoo as I thought.
Right.
It's like a lot of.
Well, we could see what AI has to say.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. That's true.
Well, that's why there's a great video by Jim Lill who talks about, it doesn't matter what the hell you put in the power section. It's not affecting the tone of the amp.
Why do I know that name?
Jim Lill has a channel, but you got to see, he basically figures out how amps.
I know this guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I saw him build that one crazy amp that like could mimic everything.
Yeah, that was it. The box, the tackle box.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great.
You want to hear what AI has to say about tubes?
Sure.
I mean, you're pretty much dead on. It's like the cathode's heated by a filament, which causes electrons to be emitted from cathode into a vacuum. The anode is positively charged, so it attracts the electrons from the cathode. This creates a current flow from the cathode to the anode. The amount of current that flows through the diode depends on the voltage, blah, 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 difference between cathode and anode. When the voltage difference is high, the current flow is large. When the voltage difference, current flow is small. Now, what are they talking about? They're talking about the diode part of that's cathode and anode, but there's that third element.
The grid.
It doesn't say anything about the grid. Wow, that's the main part of it.
Yeah, maybe there's
filament, electrons.
Maybe the earliest like vacuum tubes were just diodes instead of triodes.
Yeah, I think AI dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah, maybe. And the thing I learned
EL34 is technically a pentode.
Right. I was just gonna say, yeah, the difference between that is extra grids. So it still only has a plate and a cathode, but it has a control grid. And then between the control grid and the plate, there's two additional grids now. One of them is positively charged, so it helps accelerate the.
I think you're talking about a
movement.
tetrode.
Well,
a beam tetrode, like a 6L6.
Right, but no, the pentode follows this suit. I'll explain.
Oh,
it's the same thing. You've got one that's there that is intended to speed it across, but what was happening, I guess they figured this out. I don't know. What was happening is they were hitting the plate so hard that it would cause dissipation. So it would come back a little bit. And so then they invented the pentode, which has something called a suppressor grid. And that captures those electrons that were knocked off the plate and keeps them.
Well, then there's the pentode is like, that's an old tube. Then you have the beam tetrode, which solve those problems, and the kinkless tetrode.
The kinkless tetrode, also known as the KT.
Hey, exactly. I plugged some further things into AI. I got to admit it was wrong because after vacuum tubes, right? It's like I wrote in. Why was your answer incorrect? My previous answers about vacuum tubes were incorrect because I didn't mention thermionic emission, blah, 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 right? And then I said, well, why didn't you mention the grid? I apologize for not mentioning the grid in my previous answers about vacuum tubes. The grid is an important part of vacuum tubes and plays a key role in the operation. This AI is somewhat imperfect.
You're getting into an argument with the computer. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's all interesting.
Yeah.
The funny thing I'm trying to absorb right now is, okay, so I've got the amp, I built it, it works, it's very cool, what a great exercise, yada yada yada. But understanding how the amp works by breaking it down into like a block diagram, not so simple as just saying preamp, power amp, speaker, but like more in depth than that. But just like breaking the whole preamp into like, here's the input stage, here's gain stage 1, gain stage 2, tone stack, cathode follower, and then breaking down the power amp to like phase inverter, bias circuit. Like, it becomes a lot easier at that point because you're looking at these chunks. Instead of looking at a board that's got 75 components on it, you can narrow it down to like 6. And you can be like, that's the bias circuit. Oh, now I see how it works. It's kind of like, it's much easier at that point. And it's also funny because you notice that like there'll be like a signal going into it and a signal going out of it. And so you're like, oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, I get it. I think. Until it gets even more messy and you're doing 4-channel amps with relays all over the fucking place.
Right.
Good God, I couldn't even imagine.
And the fucked up thing is there's so many great amps out there. And look at, you just proved that you can make one yourself and mod it yourself. Eventually you're going to go change the parts that you just were putting in. And you can do a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of good amps.
And I'm going to sell it myself and build another one. That was actually a good idea Melissa had. She said, once it's safe and it's burned in and you feel like, okay, it's not going to kill anybody, you should sell it, buy another one, build another one. Because each time you build it, you'll get better at it. And I was like, that's a good fucking point.
Definitely.
Better than trying to be nostalgic about it.
Analog electronics, you got to keep on top of it. Just keep learning.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Anyhow, what did I miss today? You guys want to recap the first 2 hours of your show?
We did a couple of lists. We did. We talked about Van Halen for quite a bit.
Marshall,
is a guy. You're referring to? Yeah, because Friedman, I guess, does a Van Halen mod on an amp, and he did it for this guy, and he's like, the
link amp is in our private chat.
I'll put it back in. It's in the private chat. No, I know, but he won't see it because he came in after.
Oh.
So this guy, I've never heard a fucking amp sound more like Van Halen's amp. And the reason why I say that is the guy plays a regular plexi and then Friedman's modded one. And when you hear the Friedman modded one, it's like, oh, fuck, that sounds like the record. And when the guy's playing the same exact licks through the regular plexi, you're like, yeah, that sounds like fucking Trisha Takanawa trying to play it.
Okay, so you're saying it was actually really good.
Oh, whatever Friedman's doing to that amp. I gotta know those. I gotta know those mods. And then he swapped the EL34s out of it with a C6A7 or 6CA7.
That is the American variant
of the 34.
34, right?
That's right.
But I don't know. I don't know why.
I think it has a higher plate voltage, maybe, or a lower plate voltage. I can't remember why. I think it has something to do with the plate voltage.
It says
because that's like what a 5881
CA7 is built more like an American beam tetrode as opposed to a pure pentode. I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, well, you know how like a 5881 is like a weak 6L6,
right? Yeah.
Oh, so I mean, I don't know if that had something to do with it or if it's stronger. I have no idea.
Can I bring up some stuff that Dave's leaving out?
Oh yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, we also talked about Barbara Dare, Raquel Darien, Ona Z. Got to mention.
Oh yeah, we talked about 80s.
Jamie Gillis and John Leslie.
Herschel Savage. Right.
Herschel
John Leslie.
Sure.
Sounds like not a lot of guitar stuff, or I don't know who these people are.
They're porn stars from the late 70s, early 80s.
70s, 80s.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
And then we did the list of 50 greatest.
But listen to that guy's amp, John, and you'll see what I'm saying. It's like I don't know what the fuck he did.
Oh, you sent me the link.
It's in the private chat on the.
I see it.
Okay.
I'll listen to it.
Later. Yeah.
Later.
Yeah, I just think it's a good sounding amp. And there's also, if you guys want to watch a really cool YouTube channel with a guy who does amp mods, I'm going to find him right now. He's from Australia.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Head First or something like that?
Yes. How good is he?
Yeah, it's great. I'm going to be referencing his video on the Dirty Shirley conversion that I'm doing on mine because he does one.
Oh, he does. Yeah, the guys. Okay, here's one where he's taken the Origin and I'm putting it in the chat. He's this guy here. Click on that, gentlemen. This guy mods these amps and makes them, I mean, literally takes you could buy yourself a cheap Marshall that no one likes like the Origin. I mean, the Origin, the sales are so low. I don't have a joke.
All these amp guys have, they have mods for that amp. Dave, when
Dave had one,
when he's not doing Friedman, because he only works in the factory 3 days a week. The other 4 days of the week he has his own shop where he still does his repair business and his tour supply business. He's modding those Origins all day long.
Yeah, no, I know,
you
but
can get that Origin 50 for $100 or $500.
Yeah, it's cheap.
And then turn it into something spectacular.
Literally, you can have your tech watch this guy's video and have him just fucking change out. And this thing sounds like a fucking 80s monster. It sounds like a 2203.
Yeah.
I'm
sure that the transformers are probably 50 watt big iron transformers. They're just made in China, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter.
It doesn't. No. And yeah, Tom says he knows I think Tom, the thing was there's a couple of values that he changes. It's only a few resistor changes, and then it's something to do with running the amp at 90 volts, something like that. Exactly.
Oh, so he's got a
Variac
on it, right?
I mean, it makes the amps. Have you seen that video yet, Krell?
No, what one's that?
The one that I have in the private chat where the Asian guy is playing Van Halen.
The Toshi Yamagi, whatever his name is. Yeah,
Mr. Miyagi.
Mic's on, mic's off.
I was just going to say, there's a video how to get the when you put the buffing agent on, you buff on, buff off. Nice. Tom did it to a 71 Super Lead.
I'm listening to it right now because why not?
That tone is sick.
It sounds just like it.
It really does.
I wonder if he's using some sort of an attenuator or anything.
I think there's a Variac on it because he says in the name of the video something with a Variac.
Yeah, well, it just says Brown Sound / Variac at 90 volts.
Yeah.
What's his face? The guy that does that tribute band Nerd Halen with that comedian
Hal Sparks.
Yeah. Doesn't he use a Splon?
No. He's using EVH, the EVH stuff.
Oh, okay.
He got endorsed. Caleb got endorsed, so he's using all EVH stuff. But he said he runs his at 90 volts.
Yeah, that's the Eddie place.
Yeah, because he's got an attenuator, or not an attenuator, a Variac.
Variac, yeah.
And he swears, he was like even the EVH. He's like, you run it at 90, it sounds like old Van Halen. You turn it off and just run it standard, it sounds like new Van Halen.
Right.
So.
And you know who wants to sound like new Van Halen?
Nobody. I have. I don't remember who it was. I ended up arguing with somebody over the Sammy Hagar, David Lee Roth thing. It's such a played out argument, but how can somebody really be like, oh, this one's better, the Sammy's better? It's like, what?
The two different bands.
What? I can't remember who the stand-up comedian is, but they referred to Sammy Hagar as that's the Van Halen for the mall crowd.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pop band, and they're not bad. It's a good pop band, as good as Foreigner was. But Van Halen with Lee Roth, that was a fucking
monster.
That was a circus.
Oh,
that was entertainment and a madhouse. So you want to?
That was
makes me
lightning
think
in
of
the
song-
bottle.
Yeah, makes me think of the song "Madhouse" from Anthrax. Right, it was a madhouse. Those guys were on stage killing it. The tone was sick. Everything about those songs was pure rock and roll.
No
6
brown
years and they were
M&Ms.
done.
Let me just say this. Are you guys familiar with the Howard Stern show?
Yes.
The David Lee Roth
never
Van
heard of it.
Halen. David
Who?
Lee Roth Van
Me?
Halen is Beetlejuice. Sammy Hagar Van Halen is Hank the Angry Dwarf.
That's really funny. No, it's what's the I think I've heard somebody say this before, like the David Lee Roth Van Halen is songs about banging chicks, and Sammy Hagar is songs about marrying chicks. It's like, which one do you want to listen to?
The David Lee Roth Van Halen, the sound was brown, but the M&Ms weren't.
Right. No, it's true. I mean, like, look, great fucking band, revolutionary band that changed the whole decade. Van Halen with Sammy, good rock and roll band, fun band, Pepsi commercial band. Right now, right? I mean, it's like, it's okay. The theme to Twister, standing on top of the world.
Being.
It's a little faggy. We can admit it. We're in touch with our feminine side. It's faggy. But let's just call it what it is. The Lee Roth, listen.
When it's love.
When you're pulling up in a Trans Am with T-tops and the music's cranking and Renegade just finishes on the radio, you want to hear fucking something from Van Halen 1. You don't want to hear anything on 5150. 5150 is when you pull up in a Subaru. You're in a Subaru and you're like, look at this. I have a CD player. They just came out. It's 1986. And this is Van Halen's new album. Yeah, okay. So they're gone. So Van Halen's
Suzuki
done.
Samurai.
Oh, the Suzuki Sidekick. Yeah, either way, I mean, there's no way to compare the two bands. I think they're both good. One's fantastic. The other one's still just good. But like in 1986, what's that album that came out? 5150?
Yep.
Is that in the top 10 albums of anyone's 1986 albums?
Nope. I begrudgingly added it to my honorable mentions that time. I added it last second.
I mean, think about what came out in 86. Peter Gabriel's So. Graceland from fucking Paul Simon. What else came out that year? 86. Queensryche, Rage for Order.
Talk, Color of Spring. Talk, Color of Spring.
Oh,
great album.
Yeah. Didn't Master of Puppets come out that year?
Yep, Master of Puppets.
P-Cells.
Somewhere in Time.
P-Cells I thought was 87.
I think it's 86.
I think it's the one. 86. Isn't there one before? Is there something before P-Cells?
Yeah, that was 85.
That is 85. Killing is my no, not Killing is my business.
No, that was the first one.
According to the all-knowing internet, it was released on September 19th, 86. P-Cells.
Wow. But who's buying?
Right.
James Stewart says he saw Van Halen 79, hands down, Roth, the best frontman of all time. Yeah.
I know you're not a fan, but Slayer, Raining Blood, 86.
86 is a good year. I'm telling you right now, 5150 I might like better than Rain and Blood, but that's okay. Let me say this. You know what it's like? It's like, imagine the Tonight Show. Johnny Carson is David Lee Roth. And Sammy Hagar is Jay Leno.
I'm fine with that. That's a solid comparison.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I don't even think it's Sammy's fault. think it's Eddie's
No,
fault.
it isn't. In fact, if you ask Jay Leno what he thinks, he'll be like, well,
So what does that make Gary Sharon? Pat Sajak?
Oh my god.
No, it makes him fucking Joan Rivers. Can we talk? Can we talk?
Who after Leno, wasn't Conan the host for about 5 minutes?
Yep. And then it went to
Leno
Fallon.
took it back.
Oh yeah, Leno took it back.
and
That's
then-
right.
Yeah, so maybe Sharon is Conan.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh.
too bad because I like Conan a lot.
Conan's
Yeah, I
fine.
like Conan.
Conan's great.
I don't like Gary Sharon.
Yeah.
Which of these?
I think I would
tells
still
your
I
mom
would
to pick you up?
definitely still take 5150 over Porno Graffiti.
Oh, all day. Let me just say this. So this I brought up earlier as well on the show. When David Lee Roth left the band, both bands suffered. David Lee Roth's solos suffered. It wasn't as good as the original Van Halen. And Van Halen suffered because they weren't as good as the original Van Halen.
But I
when
like David Lee
Black
Roth
Sabbath-
better than 5150.
But when Black Sabbath when Ozzy left the band, or when they fired Ozzy, yeah, right, Bill Wood fired him. Of course, they were all in on it. When they fired Ozzy, Ozzy's next two records were better than his career, and the Dio shit was and Sabbath got better. Both bands improved by the Ozzy separation.
I believe that is correct.
Yeah. I think so.
What about where did Ian Gillan come from?
Deep
He in
Purple.
purple? He was in purple.
Also in Jesus Christ Superstar
Yep.
Born
with
Again.
Paul Thomas.
Now, when Ian Gillan joined Black Sabbath, I don't think anyone benefited.
No.
Trash.
No, you know? Oh, yeah, Joe loves that record.
I love that album.
I was
Born-
doing about
Born
100
Again?
when I'm drinking a
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
The hero.
I don't like that.
I even hate the guitar tone on that record. That guitar, it's funny, like when you think about albums where guitar tones ruin the album, like Fly on the Wall by AC/DC, it's like a distortion sound with not the, it doesn't even sound like a Marshall. It's that Angus has terrible distortion sound on that album. And Iommi's sound on that album, Born Again, it's like a thin razor sound. I don't know what the hell he was using on that record.
But it's probably just bad mic placement. Like they just
could
choose,
be.
like, just
But I think it was
terrible
Martin
choices
Birch.
in the
Lead
audio.
singer placement.
I like Gillan
he
on
didn't
Who Do
belong
We
in-
Think We Are.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. He didn't belong in Black Sabbath.
And I'll say this, Coverdale was better in Whitesnake than he was in Deep Purple. I don't like Coverdale's voice so much in Deep Purple. It sounds too nasally. It's like he went and had rhinoplasty and opened up the septum there.
Mm.
But you ever notice, if you listen to the Deep Purple stuff, Coverdale's singing through his nose. Sounds like David Brenner.
I don't know the whole record because I didn't really like all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I get it.
I didn't like that stuff that much, but the song Burn by itself is awesome.
Great. That album's good.
Yeah. I don't know it other than that though. There's I think one or two other songs maybe that I like.
Mistreated's on that record. That's
Oh, yeah,
fantastic.
Mistreated's good.
Yeah. And the album
But-
afterwards. What's the album after with Stormbringer? And you know the reason why Blackmore left was he thought the band was getting too funky.
That's funny.
That's funky to him.
I don't know the record that much, but I remember Howie told me I think that he thinks that record's the best Coverdale record with him. With Purple.
Deep Purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, he likes
probably-
Burn.
No, he was saying the Stormbringer one.
Oh, Stormbringer. I like it better than Burn
Yeah,
too. Yeah, I think
he likes
Stormbringer's their best with him.
Yeah, I don't know the record very well. I didn't care that much, like I said, for the music, but the song, oddly enough, Burn itself, just the song, I think is one of the best songs that they have in their whole catalog.
Right. Yeah, it's probably true.
If not my favorite, it might even be my absolute favorite song that Purple ever did.
It's a great tune.
I love the fact that the whole entire verse section is a giant drum fill. It's so funny to me, and it's so well executed, though. It's very cool.
Yeah, I'm one of the few I know. Everyone loves Perfect Strangers, and I just do not like that record.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I mean, it was cool when it came out because it was the original Mach 4 lineup after a number of years of them being apart.
Yeah, I don't know. So around that time, like when I think of White Snakes, what's that White Snake record I like? Slide It In. That's a fantastic. That's another one that would be on my radar. And I'll tell you who's underrated in there. It has nothing to do with John Sykes. That album is all Bernie Marsden, who's fucking great.
What year is that one? Is that 86?
84.
84.
Ooh,
yeah, Everett Cummings is Slide It In's fantastic. He's saying Flick of the Switch, that's a great album for great tone. In fact, I like the tone on Flick of the Switch more than I like it on For Those About to Rock. I think For Those About to Rock's a good record. I just think like it's cliche. There's something about it where I think they're trying to be poppier, and then they got rid of Mutt Lang, and on Flick of the Switch, it's just back to the raw band, which I like.
All right, I have a brief game for you. We'll play the better or not better than 5150.
Okay.
Rock records released in 1986. And
right. I believe other than you, John, I believe other than you, it was the year we graduated high school.
Yep, for me.
Joe, 85 or 86?
86.
Yep. There you go. All three of us graduated high school this year.
Yeah, I can't believe any of you graduated.
Yeah, that's the miracle.
There you go. You graduated?
I remember. I'll never
graduate.
All right, here we go. I already know where this is going to be placed, but I'm going to throw them out there because I want to see the reactions. I think it's funny. Look what the cat dragged in.
Oh, 5150.
5150.
Okay. All right. Constrictor by Alice Cooper.
5150.
5150.
But I love Alice.
Invisible Touch, Genesis.
5150.
5150.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Throw it all away. It's a good record. 5150 is better.
Yeah, there's a couple.
I meant to say Invisible Touch. My bad.
She's got to pay.
Invisible
That
Touch.
song, Invisible Touch, might even throw it in the end. Might throw it away anyway. Go ahead.
Throwing it all away is amazing. That's a killer song.
Great.
Yeah,
fantastic.
All right. The Ultimate Sin.
5150. Joe said Ultimate Sin?
That's right.
Excellent.
Sin.
I would say 5150, but to me it's flipping a coin by mood.
May 30th. Can I just 1 second?
Yeah.
3 weeks before graduation, May 31st, 1986, I went to see Ozzy, Ultimate Sin tour, Metallica opening. Cliff was still alive.
Yeah, I saw that tour and Cliff was dead. Queensryche opened up.
Okay, I'm gonna up the ante a little bit here. We're gonna get some better traction, as it were. All right. Mechanical Resonance from Tesla.
Tesla,
definitely.
5150.
Okay.
I do love Modern Day Cowboy. I love Modern Day Cowboy.
I love that album.
But the other song I like that for.
I like that one too. But all right. Somewhere in Time.
Somewhere in Time.
Somewhere in Time.
Somewhere in Time.
All right. Let's compare apples.
Even though for me, I don't think Somewhere in Time aged that well because of the too much chorusy on the vocals. But
yeah,
I do like it better.
All right. How about Eat 'em and Smile?
Eat 'em and Smile.
Eat 'em and Smile.
Hands
Eat 'em
down.
and Smile.
It's like, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was saying earlier I picked that over.
And DL knows where I am on this one. The Way It Is for Bruce Hornsby in the Range.
Never heard of it.
Take 5150. Yeah. I'll take 5150.
I would take 5150. I know John wouldn't.
I love Bruce Hornsby for some reason. Don't ask me why. I have no idea.
Listen to the mandolin. Oh, fucking great.
I don't know why I love it. I just do.
Some came and went. Man, that reminds me so much. That's when I hear that song now in my head of that around that time.
How about let's just do one last one here because I know DL likes some stuff on it. Raised on Radio.
Journey. 5150.
5150.
I don't like
Raised on Radio for me.
I don't like
Really?
that Journey album.
Absolutely. The girl can't help it.
Yourself when
I love that fucking record.
You know what? This is actually fun. Keep it going just a little longer.
Hold on. I'm telling you right now that Raised on Radio record, you go back and listen to it, you're going to be like, holy fuck, this was good.
Oh my God.
Suzanne's on that album.
I'll Be All Right Without You's on that record. That's a killer.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I don't like that.
After
I feel sad and lonely just reading the title.
Oh, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great records from '86 you haven't even mentioned yet.
Randy Jackson's on that record. I know we all love
he
Randy
is.
Jackson.
Bass, yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay, so we did Raised on Radio, but you're having fun.
Which
So
I
for
love
Crowbar,
that.
we'll keep it going. All right, I think I know where we're going to go on this one, but I'm going to throw it out anyways because I don't know the answer here. Black Celebration, Depeche Mode.
I believe that album, that's 86. I would have said 85. If that's 86, I'm going to say something that most people in the chat are going to think is blasphemous. Princess Di is wearing a new dress. I'm going to say Black Celebration.
Wow.
I don't know the album well enough to make a decision.
Sometimes,
I don't know if
only
I've ever heard it.
sometimes. I love that album. That to me was the first great Depeche Mode album.
Okay. How about Turbo?
Crazy.
50. I'll take.
Oh, yeah, that's
I think I'm taking Turbo.
I like Turbo Lover. I like Locked In, and that's about it.
You
Both of
like
those songs
Parental
were about
Guidance.
Ben
Who are
and
you kidding?
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I might be at a
I
push.
gotta go with 5150 on this one.
I'm Turbo Lover.
Okay. Go to the top of the list here. Skylarking.
Oh,
That's
Skylarking.
XTC.
Yeah,
Who's that?
XTC. That
XTC.
I don't know. 5150.
Census working overtime. Yeah, 5150.
All right. We got one for Skylarking, though. We got one.
What about The Queen is Dead by the Smiths, I think was 86. I take that over 5150.
It's possible. It's not on this list that I'm looking at, but how about your boy Steve Winwood, Back in the High Life?
I'll take that over 5150.
All day over 5150. That's a great record.
Take me a higher love.
Actually, that's probably my least favorite song.
Yeah, agreed. Freedom Overspill, that's on that record, right?
I'm just looking at song titles I know
Yeah,
from.
Split Decision.
Split Decision. Oh, it's great.
What do you think sold more? Here's a new question. What sold more? Slippery When Wet from 86 or 5150?
Slippery When Wet.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's my guess.
Yeah, you might be. I think you're probably right. Oh, it's Joe's favorite record from 86.
What?
Think about how
Final
big that
Countdown
was.
from Europe.
I actually love that album.
Yeah, baby.
I'll take 5150.
It's a great album. No, I'm going to go with Europe.
Well, what was it? Rock the Night that got you? Come
Carrie.
on, Rock the Night. Oh, Carrie.
How does Carrie go? Oh,
Carrie. Things they change, my friend. Awful song.
Shit.
Oh. Queensryche, Rage for Order, 1986.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still think it's Queensryche's best record.
Queensryche. I go with Queensryche.
Yeah, same here.
I don't care for those first two records. I think they're poorly produced.
Oh, I think those first two are the only two from them. Mind Crime, I cannot.
Oh man, I love it.
Oh, cool.
If I had a dollar for every time I heard Mind Crime, I'd be a billionaire.
For a price, I do about anything.
Right.
That's right.
It's so dumb. I love it.
Oh, thank you for acknowledging. It's so ridiculous.
Right, but it's great.
The man, Dr. X, the man. Oh, I'm like listening to it in the gym one day, and I'm like, am I trying to get a pump, or am I going to get somebody come up from behind me and pump me?
You know
it's the fucking Ethel Merman of heavy metal.
Do you know the song Empire from the album Empire?
Yes, Empire.
In the middle of the song,
In
Jeff
1950s, right? The United States spent.
Right, and he's talking about all this financial like information, and it makes me laugh every time I hear it because the thing he says is federal spending only accounted for so and so percent of law enforcement, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, that makes sense because law enforcement gets its funding from local and state government, not federal.
Right.
So I'm calling Jeff Tate on his politics.
Oh yeah, it's first of all when he starts going into that and they're like, you know, the picking gets a little quick, the double picking, and then he's like, and you know and he starts going into all that shit. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
It's kind of like,
I still love the song. Empire is fantastic. Jet City
good.
Woman's great. Della Brown is great.
Oh. Della Brown sees it all the time.
But Eyes of a Stranger, I can't do. I Don't Believe in Love.
I like I Don't Believe in Love.
Oh,
I like that one.
What's the? Oh yeah, Under Survey. What's that? What's that song? Is that I Don't Believe in Love?
Believe in Love. Yeah.
What's the one where he's like, $25 a fucking John's a happy man.
She wipes the filth away and back on the streets again.
Spreading the disease.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's so
I love it.
Gay.
It totally. But I love it. Oh,
$25 a fucking Jones.
Speaking of totally absurd, I watched Maverick. Have you guys seen Maverick?
Yeah,
of course. Well, I know what you're gonna say because we talked about it in the. You and I railway.
What is that? What is that? The Top,
the
new Top Gun.
The new
Top
Gun
Gun Maverick,
also known as Star Wars.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. But I will say I like that Maverick better than the original Top Gun.
It was entertaining, and the plane scenes were really cool. But dude, that movie, like, you could get rid of everything that happens between the plane scenes, and you wouldn't miss anything. You
can kind of say that about Top Gun too. I mean, the love story, and drinking in the bar, yeah.
I watched one last night. That almost killed me.
What's that?
I watched the movie last night, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
How bad was it?
And they literally, it's beautiful looking, but at the end you're thinking to yourself, that's a 22-minute cartoon. They stretched out to 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I wanted to choke someone.
2 hours and 20 minutes.
I wanted to, and it doesn't end. To be continued at the end. I'm like, you mother.
That's really What was the name of that one that won all the awards like last year? I think it was it was like an Asian one. James Hong was in it. I think Jackie Chan might have been in it.
Is that Everything All at Once?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a weird name. I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't watched that yet.
Have you guys seen that? DL?
No. That was a female director, I think, on that.
Because that was supposed to be like
Everything
you
Everywhere.
were saying that Into the Spider-Verse was visually outstanding. That one's supposed to be like visually crazy too.
Yeah, like a multiverse kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything
with James Hong, I feel like I need to give it a chance.
Have you guys seen Rob Schneider's jokes lately, where he's talking about diversity?
I think I saw a couple of them.
And he's like, United Airlines now wants to have they're hiring their pilots. They're saying they want to do. He's like, they're really into diversity now is their main focus. He's like, oh yeah, it was so boring having these white guys landing on time safely. Yeah, we're not going to get the best. We just want to be diverse. It was fucking hilarious. We're so sick of landing safely on time.
Rob Schneider's going to get in trouble.
Let's get the affirmative action higher.
Oh, no, he's funny.
Rob Schneider.
Rob Schneider is a stapler. Do you remember that?
South Park?
Exactly, yes.
That's so funny.
Rob Schneider is a stapler. It's like they're making fun of the animal and everything in the hot chick, every movie he does where he turns into something else.
You ever see that movie,
the hot
Big
chick
Stand?
one with Terry Crews?
No, that's White Chicks.
Oh, White Chicks, right. Yeah. All right. I gotta watch
that's
that
fucking
one again.
great. Yeah, it's great.
You guys ever see that movie Big Stan with Rob Schneider? Where he's in prison?
I don't think so.
He's like this scam artist that goes to prison. He's afraid he's going to get butt raped and beat up in prison. So David Carradine's in it. He plays his mentor. He teaches him all these martial arts and stuff. So he goes into prison and kicks everyone's ass. But it's like, it's funny. It's funny.
No, I haven't seen that.
Henry Gibson's in it. I think it was.
I thought you were going to say he didn't finish his training, so he's the master of martial arts.
Solid joke. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that.
That's a dad joke. That's a Papa San joke.
That's a good one, though.
It is good. All right, guys. It's getting late, guys. I'm going to smoke a cigar before I go to bed.
Master of the martial arts. I like that.
Is it a Rocky Patel?
No, tonight will be a
Flor de Mundo. What is it?
Nope. Today is going to be a. Oh, what the hell am I smoking? I could see it in the top of my head. Begins with an A. Aging Room. The Aging Room, bin number 2 in C major. That is the name.
That seriously is the name?
That is the name. Bin number 2 in C major.
Interesting.
They have
Speaking
musical
of Rocky
names.
Patel, I still have
the flavors not too sharp, not too flat.
Exactly.
Terrible.
I still have an Extreme Sumatra.
Oh, you do? God, yeah.
So I'm gonna smoke that tomorrow.
I got a bunch coming in either tomorrow or the next day. I can't remember, but they had a sale on Cigar Page. I don't know if you sign up to their emails, Krell Bob, but they'll email you once in a while.
They're blocked.
They email me 30 times a day.
Until I make my next order,
I'll go to my phone right now, and I guarantee there'll be one there. Oh, no,
5.
JR special.
5 a day.
Scorcher.
At least.
Scorcher.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess I will catch everybody next time.
Yeah, next week we're here, same bad time.
Same bad channel.
And have the amp there so people can look at it and go, ooh, that's what an amp looks like when it looks like a Marshall without the logo.
Right.
I think you should put Marshalls on it. I think that'd be great.
I
got it at Marshalls.
Idea. It's a really funny idea. I still like that idea.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, right. I will see you later.
All right, everyone. I want to thank everybody in the chat for hanging out. Before you leave, hit a like on the fucking channel once in a while, will you? You people never hit like.
No one
John
likes
did the Irish exit.
Irish exit.
Yeah, please hit like on the goddamn. How many likes do I got?
You have
22.
Are you kidding me? That's it? Come on. I just liked it. Then now we're up to 23.
All right. Yeah, I just never get any likes. I know I'm giving you some shitty entertainment, folks, but you got to take it. It's for the price you pay for the entertainment you get. No, tonight was good. Joe had some good lists. We had a lot of fun. Joe, did you have fun tonight?
Very good.
Yeah, well, John came up with an impromptu list.
Why isn't your face moving, Joe?
What?
Me? Oh, okay. Fucking gold. How about that? Fred! The scene from, what's that movie? Omega Man? Not Omega Man. What are they? I Am Legend?
I Am Legend. That is fucking
Fred!
great.
Fred! He's like... Folks, if you don't realize this, I have an infatuation with Beetlejuice.
No,
I love it. I think it's funny, Pete. Don't you think it's funny, Pete?
You think it's fucking funny. It's not
No one
You think it's fucking funny. It's not fucking funny.
No one liked my Cordell Stewart joke.
Just say.
I watched the clip of Beetlejuice the other day where he said he's 80 years old and his mother is 70.
Yeah.
Love it. Fucking love it.
He says, they're like, what were the other kids? How did you differ from other kids? He goes, I'm taller. And then they say, well, how tall are you? He goes, I'm 6'9".
No. Good night, everybody. 3 hours.
All right, everyone, listen, I want everyone to have a great night. We'll see you next week. I'll probably do, my phone now tells me that if I go live, I can go live direct through YouTube with somebody else going live at the same time. So if any of you guys ever want to do a cigar live while we're home, Message me. We'll set something.
I'm gonna see if I can go out back, see if my Wi-Fi will actually reach back there, and maybe.
Just go to 5G. Aren't you on a 5G phone?
Yeah, well, I could do the phone. Yeah, it's like, but I'd rather go out with my laptop. It's
your laptop. I see. I use my phone. It's just easy. Obviously not here. My phone is over here. All right, guys. Everyone, very good. Let me find the outro to this thing. I found it. All right, everyone, have a great night. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Krell. Very good.